There we go. Boom, we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ragnarok Patreon game. Tonight we are playing more Delta Green. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. We have two players with us tonight. Oh, there we go. I had YouTube open. Had to mute that. Okay. So we have with us tonight. We have two gamers. We have Ryan from Ragnarok, and we have our backer Steve. So why don't
Hey.
you guys introduce your characters and just give us a little brief description of them?
Steve, if you want to go first, my Acrobat Reader is currently having a seizure, so I'm trying to get
No
my
problem.
character open.
Okay, so I'll be playing Reggie Reddy. He's an Indian American that works for the IRS. He is a federal agent, but barely. He barely passed his undergrad, barely passed his JD, and didn't pass the bar. He has his job at the IRS because his supervisor is a friend of the family, and he doesn't really understand why he's a member of Delta Green, but he doesn't think he can not be a member of Delta Green
It's
without.
kind of a do or die job.
Yeah.
You said Reggie was his name?
His first name is Rajit,
Reggie. Okay.
Rajit.
Okay. What was his last name?
Reddy, like Reddy.
Gotcha. Thank you. And Ryan.
Um, I am still currently Beach Ball of Deathing over here, so
Oh, okay.
I think my character's name was Angela, if I'm recalling correctly.
I think so.
It's been several weeks.
I tend to write the
but
characters'
she
names
is-
down on scraps of paper, which is bad for
Yeah.
keeping track of things.
All of my notes are in the PDF that currently won't load, so
Gotcha.
I'm kind of up shit creek here, as it were. But from what I remember, her name is Angela. That might change depending on when I actually get the notes back. She's an FBI agent in her early 50s, and she has been to 2 operas so far.
And survived both.
Yeah,
It's a good track record.
mostly.
All right. So, for those of you who haven't listened to our last game, which would be everyone because it hasn't been posted yet, the gist is that two professors from MIT managed to backwards their way into practicing ritual magic through music and sound, and then published their findings on the internet, which was basically a worst case scenario for Delta Green. Um, the team last time managed to stop them and placed one of the professors into custody. The other was turned into a horrible person-eating monster. She was put out of her misery. So one of the professors is in custody and is spilling everything to Delta Green. And you, the survivors, were hastily gathered back into the conference room at the Boston Federal Building, and you have now been tasked as Working Group Black Mozart, and you are working with you have been okayed. You have been given access to all the files codenamed Black Mozarts, which have to do with the great old one known as Awatha Mauda. There's not a lot that the organization has on them yet, but they do know that its followers tend and its rituals tend to be based around music and singing, and sound tends to be the big thing about that. So we are going to start soon after the end of the last game. You, Angela, have been pulled back into a conference room with your two colleagues. And there is another person there, and well, there's Agent Johnson, who assigned you the case, and there is someone else there who looks probably a little nervous, not sure why he's there. And Agent Johnson tells you all to sit and says you now have access, to codename Black Mozarts. We decided to bring in some help since this is a serious matter, this is Agent Rajit. He will be assisting you when any other Black Mozart cases arise.
Agent Ready, pleasure, I suppose.
Yes, the same.
So, for all of your edification, best we can tell is that Black Mozart, or codename Black Mozart, known as Owasso Mauda, is a great old one that exists on a plane or somewhere far beyond Earth. Thankfully, it's not here. Its followers use music to worship it, and we don't know what their endgame is. But these rituals being posted on the internet are terrible. Our tech people have examined them and determined that they removed as much as they could from the internet, but I've been told that once it's out there, and it can propagate far and wide. So we are going to keep an eye on it, and if these files come up again, they will be deleted as quickly as possible. But it might not be enough.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Were you able to get anything off of Dr. Radovan?
Nothing beyond what he told you, unfortunately. He told us where he posted all the files, and we deleted them as quickly as we could. He told us any people that he knew that he had contact with, their usernames and email addresses from the various forums that he was using. We are tracking them down and accessing their computers to delete any files they have, but we are going to have to send agents for an in-person cleanup, because if they downloaded anything to USB flash drives or anything like that, or air-gapped computers, then we can't delete those remotely. But we're more concerned with... we are worried about curious people fumbling with this. It's like a monkey with a machine gun, but we're also more worried about the people who know what they're doing, and that this could just be the missing piece that they were looking for something. Especially any followers of Black Mozart. This could prove to be quite serious.
So I was not a part of the previous operation.
No.
What's the deal? He just likes making people sing to him?
As far as we can tell, from the interactions that we've had with previous cultists, Owasso Mauda claims to be the song and the singer, is what they refer to him as. Their practitioner tends to affect reality itself. From our research, we have been able to determine that they believe that Owasso Mauda sings the song that makes reality exist, and is the song itself. It's complicated, but they worship it as a god and as the universe itself. Destabilizing it could result in the end of everything.
Okay, well that would be bad.
Yes, but
right.
In the short term, these spells, for lack of a better word, this uncontrolled magic can wreak havoc here locally. As our agents saw, they were the professors at MIT were trying to create things out of thin air, and succeeded on a small scale, and managed to turn a woman into a monster when they tried to cure her cancer. It's quite complicated, and in the wrong hands could do a lot of damage, and in the right hands could do even more.
Base ready to install.
Now Ryan's computer's talking to him again.
Yep.
Hey, Ryan, I uploaded a screenshot of the pre-gen, if that might work for you. It's on the chat.
Okay. Thank you. I did manage to get it loaded.
Okay,
So
cool.
but thanks anyway.
No problem.
All right. Well, from what I saw, anybody with access to this information, and I mean a well-stocked Radio Shack, could potentially set up this the device needed to affect those changes.
Well, that device is one possible outcome. The information that they based that off of had nothing to do with creating matter out of thin air. It was about controlling people's minds and opening a portal to the realm where Black Mozart, Owasso Mauda, dwells. So the implications are far-reaching for what this information could be used for.
I mean, I was only thinking about people summoning plastic explosives into existence with a stereo system, but I suppose that's...
Well, plastic explosives would be bad, but so would summoning horrors from beyond space and time.
Right.
So, for now, we are going to send you home. There's not much more we can do right now. Our tech people are doing what they can. And when the time arises, we will call you back. Any questions?
Nope. Sounds great. We're just going to head home and ignore it for now.
Mission over.
Yes. Mission over. Good work with the containment. We'll do what we can.
Hey, thank you.
Agent Reddy, thank you for your contribution. You are now part of Working Group Black Mozart, though.
Oh! I thought I was just here to observe. Like this was like a training thing, just so I could see how these kind of meetings happen.
You can, and you'll get to see how operations happen too. Delta Green is not much of a training wheels organization.
You're aware of what happened on my last operation, right?
What happened on your last operation?
I just assume it was the one that I got brought in on, and everybody died.
Okay, everyone else died. Yes, we are aware, and unfortunately, we wish that the outcome had been different. But times being what they are, we take what we can get, and hopefully, you've learned from the experiences of that last operation and won't make those same mistakes again.
Okay.
Angelina is just like staring across the boardroom table at you with just like wary eyes. She kind of like shakes her head and rubs at the bridge of her nose. Right. Well, I suppose in that case, once you find a good lead, someplace for us to start, rather than the entire internet, we'll be expecting a phone call. Or
yes. Well, thank you again, and get some rest. You're going to need it. So with that, we are going to cut quickly to some downtime action for Ryan.
Hooray.
So let me double check. You can try to get sanity back. You could improve your skills, or you can. There's one other thing you can do. Oh, there we go. Personal pursuits. So, okay. Fulfill some of your responsibilities, which is just do, stuff, which can improve a bond, and could get you one sand back.
Okay.
You can go back to nature, which might hurt a bond, but you basically go camping for a while, and that helps you get sand back. You could establish a new bond if you want. And you could go to therapy, which if you lie, excuse me, you could talk about what happened with a therapist. If you lie, you get less sand back. If you succeed, you get more sand back, but they might call someone on you. You could try to improve a skill, or you can stay on the case, in which case you can gain sand back, but you lose. Your bond goes down because you become obsessed over your case.
Yeah, I'm thinking that after what happened last time, Angelina is probably going to. I'm sorry, you got kind of garbled, but take the second option that you said, where she becomes a bit reclusive and gets back to nature and spends some time alone.
Go back to nature? Okay.
Yeah.
So your agent spends some time in seclusion, minimizing stress, distractions, and obligations. It's not a vacation with the family. It's extended time alone or mostly alone in an environment that's physically active but places few other demands on the agent. So you pick one bond and reduce it by 1.
Okay. I'm going to say my girlfriend is wondering where I am.
Okay. You just kind of like, babe, I'm going out of town for a while, and leave. So now you make a sand test.
Okay. Let's see. I failed.
You failed. You could get 1 back.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So you spend 2 weeks just alone, recuperating. You feel a little bit better. You don't feel worse, which is a step in the right direction. You get back to your job, and a day or 2 later, you both get an urgent call. There is a pre-recorded voice telling you that you've won a night at the opera, and that you need to. Oh well, I'm sorry, Rajit. Where are you based out of?
Wherever is convenient to the rest of the working group, I guess.
They're kind of all over. Ryan, where are you?
I think I said I was in DC last time. I forget though.
Yeah.
Yeah, DC works for the IRS.
Okay. Yeah. You work for the IRS, so probably like DC or New York. So we'll say DC. So yeah, you both get a message saying that you won a night at the, I don't know what the DC Opera House is. We'll just say the Metropolitan Opera House, and that you need to come pick up your tickets. And it gives you the address for a local radio station, which you know is code for "get your ass to the office." So, well, you're probably pretty close already, because the office would be in the federal building.
Yeah.
Which you probably, the IRS probably, well, if you're in DC, the FBI has its own building, and the IRS has its own building. Delta Green also has its own building in DC. It's not in the main government area. It does not look like a government building. It looks like an office building that was built in the 1980s. And has not been updated since. Inside, it's a little more sophisticated, but it's meant to be unobtrusive. It's just a brick building with some windows, and there are people walking around inside working with paperwork and computers, and no one really ever gives it a second glance. So you both head there. And you are greeted by the same Agent Johnson as last time. She is still wearing her black skirt suit with her white blouse. The room you're in is an interior conference room, so the only thing is the fluorescent lighting around the square table. There's a fake potted plant in the corner that adds just a little bit of green, but does not do much to alleviate the office death room that it looks like it is. She has a laptop in front of her. The screen, the projection screen, is already down behind her, and you can see that the projector mounted on the ceiling has already been warmed up. She looks up as you enter. Agents, welcome. Please take a seat. We believe we have a Black Mozart case for you.
Well, fantastic.
Rajit pales noticeably.
Okay.
Okay.
She hits a button on her laptop, and the lights in the room dim, and the projector kicks up. So, we have been busy and did not pick up on this one right away, but this is where it started. So she hits a button, and you see a local news report starts playing on broadcast on the screen. There's an anchor woman sitting behind a desk, and she says, "And in local news, some students at George Washington High School in Balch Springs were quite surprised when they left the building after school and found their cars had been melted into the pavement." And it cuts over to her co-anchor. He says, "Yes, Jill, that's right. The students came outside and saw that the tires of their cars had been embedded in the asphalt. It's quite a strange sight, and police are still trying to figure out what's going on." And it cuts to a reporter outside of the high school, and he says, "Yeah, I'm here with one of the students." And, they hold the mic over, and the kid's like, "I came out after class, school was over, I went to leave, and at first I thought I had a flat tire, but then I looked and I saw that all the tires of my car were just in the ground." And the camera pans over, and you see that there's a whole row of cars, like 15 cars, are there. If you just looked, it looked like they all have flat tires because they're too low, but their tires are full. They're just in the ground. It looks like someone melted the asphalt and let the car sink and then reformed it.
All right. As soon as the news anchor says something about cars melted into the ground, Angelina starts fumbling inside her blazer for something, and when the shot shows the line of melted car tires, she pulls out a packet of cigarettes and just starts to smoke.
When Rajit sees that it's just the tires that have been melted in the ground and not the whole car, as he first thought, he lets out a very deep breath of relaxation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of them are lower. You can see it looks like the some of them go down to the axle, like the wheels, and the not just the tire, but the rims and the brakes are like in the asphalt too. So that stops, and Agent Johnson says that report was aired 3 days ago. It stayed local in Texas, but slowly picked up steam on social media.
Rajit raises his hand.
Yes.
Well, so I'm from San Bernardino, California, and it gets pretty hot out there. I mean, did the asphalt just get really hot?
It could have.
What was the weather like that day?
It was sunny, but then there was a second incident. This one was not broadcast on the news. Just a few hours ago, we got a report that a teenager from that same school was found dead in his home. He had, it's hard to describe, fallen through the floor of his room without damaging the floor.
So, like from the second story to the first, or from the first story into the ground?
From the second to the first. She shows you some pictures. Both of you make a sand check.
Oh, how do we roll here? Just with dice?
Yeah, the Google Hangouts got rid of all the D20
right.
applications or anything, so you have to just roll your own stuff, unfortunately.
No problem. Let me grab some dice. It's a D10, right?
No more dice stream.
Yeah, no more dice stream. Oh, yeah.
I made it.
Okay.
Double criticals in this system?
Yes.
I forget. Yep.
Oh, yeah, I critically succeeded. I got a
in that case,
77.
I did too.
Oh, okay. Well, then just lose one.
Okay.
It's still bad. So she shows you obvious crime scene pictures. The first thing you see is a pair of legs coming down from the ceiling in what looks like a living room in a suburban house. That's not the worst part. It could be fake. That his pants, like it could be someone, stapled a pair of pants to the ceiling and, sewed some shoes into it to look like there were legs hanging. The second picture, you see a teenage boy. His face is still contorted in a scream of terror and pain, and he stops right about his navel in the floor. It looks like he just sunk through the floor, like the floor was suddenly quicksand, and he just went through and then stopped halfway.
Reggie reaches over and wordlessly asks for a cigarette.
She holds the carton out to him and passes him the lighter.
You see, one of his hands is pressed into the floor next to him, like maybe he was trying to pull himself out. There's a little bit of blood trickling out of the corner of his mouth. She says, "This is Adam Carterson. His parents found him like this last night when they got home from the movies. There was no sign of forced entry and no indication of what happened to him, but it seems that it was the same thing that happened to the cars at the high school." People at the reason we called you in is that people in the high school reported hearing a strange noise around the time that the school says the incident with the cars took place.
Okay. So, all right. Well, so we're feds. So can we get a hold of like data for the high school on what people are in what classes based on their federal tests and whatnot?
You can certainly try.
Okay.
But we're sending you to Texas. This is Balch Springs. It's a suburb of Dallas. It's about 25,000 people. So not a small town, but it seems that everyone there has been rocked by this death, even if they don't know the details in particular. Police have ruled it. Sorry.
Is anyone currently on scene, or is it just the locals there right now?
Just the locals.
Okay.
How did you manage to keep this quiet?
Well, the news of the boy's death has spread. The police have ruled it an accidental death. I'm not sure they're wrong, but even if this wasn't intentional, local disturbances in the fabric of reality seems like something that we should check out. If it was intentional, that's still something we need to look into. Either this is the byproduct of someone doing something they shouldn't, or someone targeted this child, and either way, that person needs to be stopped.
Of course.
Sure, but why hasn't some deputy gone blabbing to the local papers or something about this crazy kid stuck in a floor?
I don't know. Maybe they just haven't thought of it yet. Or maybe they did and the paper just hasn't published it. It's hard to say for sure. It probably won't stay quiet for long.
Do you need us to do damage control on that? I don't know what we could possibly do, but...
As of right now, as far as the police are concerned, this is a freak accident. Try to keep it that way. If any other bodies turn up like this, it's no longer going to be just a freak accident, and we'll have to figure out what we're doing.
All right. Question. I'm kind of new here, but I watch a lot of crime drama on Netflix, and what I was thinking was, what if we went in with a story that there's some serial killer doing these kind of things? Then if they find another body, it's a serial killer as opposed to crazy rips in reality.
That could work. It is within the federal prerogative to investigate serial killers.
And that would also give us jurisdiction?
Yes. It would be odd to have a serial killer with this particular MO, but...
really handy one. They like to do home repairs, and they found their niche.
If you think that's a story you can convincingly spin to the locals, then by all means, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I suppose we should get on a plane as soon as possible.
She opens a folder next to her and slides you 2 tickets.
Can I get like a badge for somewhere besides the IRS?
Yes.
It'd be kind of weird for me to be down there.
She slides you one of those like manila envelopes that you feel there's hefty stuff in there. Yes. Federal ID for the FBI that should stand up to basic scrutiny. If they need to call your supervisor, give them my number. Also, burner phones for the op. She slides you both phones with each other's numbers and my number programmed in. Figure out what's going on down there. We don't need any more dead kids.
Where are Van Kirk and Emerson?
They are sitting this one out.
Lucky them.
Perhaps. Any other questions?
No.
Good luck. Stay in contact. Let me know what you find. And she hits the button, and the projector turns off. The lights turn back on, and she gets up and walks out.
Well, this seems pretty shitty.
I'm sorry.
You do this a lot?
Well, more than I'd like. I mean, this is certainly the weirdest one, but
Okay.
then again, I've seen what this stuff can do. It's not pretty. Someone is messing around with it. We need to stop them.
Okay. I don't think I really have much of a choice, so I'm here. I don't have a choice, right?
No.
I mean, I'm just curious. If I did, I probably would still do it, but
well, let me put it this way: you got your bug out bag ready, somewhere secluded, maybe off the grid, miles away from civilization. You can hole up for a couple of years.
he pales once again. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I can work on that.
I think that's just about your only out.
Okay. Huh. My mom probably wouldn't like me moving out. Okay, well let's head to Texas maybe.
When you say that thing about your mom, her eyes just widen and she takes a real heavy drag on her cigarette.
Okay. So you guys get on your plane, fly down to Texas. It's hotter when you land, but since you're going from swamp to not swamp, it's much less muggy, so it actually feels nice. There is a rental car waiting for you, so you can get around, and they booked you a room in a hotel. So where do you guys want to start?
Should we go see the local constabulary?
Probably a good idea. We could also follow up on the family, see what's in the federal databases about them.
Oh yeah, and on the plane ride, I sent like an email requesting access to like class records for the names of students in each class and stuff like that.
Okay. Make a bureaucracy roll.
Okay? I've got 40, and I rolled a 27.
Okay. The school. Do you tell them you're coming down? You're heading in to investigate, and
I was trying to get it from the feds because I figured they would have test data.
Oh, from the feds.
That way
Okay.
Not deal with the locals.
I don't know if federal test data would break down like who's in which class.
Yeah.
They would say like who's in which grade. But sure, you know what? I'll say you go to the state instead.
Sure.
And they give you you same role. They say yeah, we'll get it to you. Give us a few hours to get it together.
Yeah, I tell them that we're looking to help local law enforcement by cross-referencing information and seeing what we can figure out from data.
Yeah, no, they're happy to help. They just have to get it together, and then they'll send it to you. So by the time you land from DC to Dallas, your phone chirps, and you have a new email from the Texas Department of Education with the class lists and test scores for all the standardized tests for all the students at George Washington High School.
All right.
So this is a music thing, right?
Partially.
Or is it like a math thing?
Yes.
It's really both.
So in the last game, there was a music professor and a math professor working together.
Sure.
Because they realized that that music can be translated into math and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So they were working together to they wanted to create stuff. So the mathematician was creating formulas to express physical objects mathematically, and then the musician was transferring that into music and playing it through this weird speaker setup they had, which created the objects out of thin air.
So these are all test scores that I have, not like class grades or anything?
Yeah, they're standardized test scores, but it tells you who's in which class.
Could I
Mrs. Johnson's class, and it has all the kids and what their test scores are.
Could I make a list of all of the kids with the best math scores that were in a class with Adam?
Sure. Yeah, you just go through and make a note of it. So you do see there is one music class. Oh no, there wouldn't be a standardized test for music.
Yeah, that's what I think. We'll have to ask the principal for grades or something to
that you'd have to
correlate that.
Yeah. Okay, so you head to the police first.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get to the Balk Springs Police Department. I'm just going to say they have one. I'm not sure. I didn't do a lot of research into Balk Springs. But the desk sergeant looks up as you walk in. Can I help you two?
Before we go into the scene, what is your cover identity?
So they gave me a very white name, Henry Clavin, and I kind of look at that and shake my head, and say, "Oh, I'm Henry Clavin. I'm with the FBI." Apparently.
Well, their first choice was Chad Whiteman, so they toned it down a little bit.
All right.
So as we're walking up the steps, I kind of say, I've got a feeling here. Let me take the lead, maybe. Are you cool with the serial killer angle?
Yeah, sounds good. I'll back you.
Okay.
My cover is Lisa DeJordi, so.
Right. Okay. So so Lisa and Henry walk in. The desk sergeant is a tired-looking man in his police blues. Looks up at you. Can I help you two?
Yes. We'd like to speak to the investigators in charge of the Adam Caterson incident.
And you are?
I flash my badge and quickly unflash it and put it back in my pocket.
Oh. He sits up a little bit and is suddenly more attentive.
Agent Clavin and DeJordi from the FBI.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. The Carterson case, right?
Yes.
That's Detective Browning. Just 1 sec. You know what? Come on through. I'll bring you back to her office.
Thank you.
You walk through.
Mighty obliged.
He leads you through the bullpen to detective office on the side. The door's open. He knocks. Detective Browning, these two are from the FBI. They say they're here about the Carterson case. You see A woman who looks like she hasn't slept in the better part of 24 hours, sitting behind a desk. Her suit jacket's off, her sleeves are rolled up. There's a mug of half-drank coffee, probably cold. She's got crime scene photos and paperwork spread out in front of her, and she looks up. Carter's already? Yeah, come on in. Come on in. There's 2 chairs opposite her desk.
Yes, so this is Agent DeJordy, and I'm Agent Clavin from the FBI.
Can I just see your badges?
Sure.
Certainly.
She looks at them for a second and nods. Yeah, okay, just wanted to make sure. I know this is a weird one, but what are the feds doing here?
Well, we can't give you too much information at this point, but we'll just say that it looks real suspicious and real similar to something we've seen somewhere else. We think there may be some commonalities that may bring this under our jurisdiction.
Look,
I mean, we don't want to step in here and take anything away from you. Obviously, we want to work along with you. But
you know what?
Turns out like we think it is.
I'm happy to give this one up if you guys want it. This is I've seen some weird shit. I've been doing this for 15 years, but I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, well, it seems like there may be a real sick individual out there who takes a lot of time with their work, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that kid was like part of the floor.
Yep, that sounds about right from what we've seen in the past. Did you get him out of there yet?
Yeah, we cut him out. He's down in the basement with the coroner.
Okay. Has the coroner done the autopsy, or?
We're waiting on the results. Preliminary said that it was severe trauma, but there's a whole part of his midsection we couldn't get to because of the floor. So if there are any wounds there, we haven't been able to tell yet.
What was the material of this floor?
Well, in his room it was carpet, then wood, then there were the joists, there was a little bit of insulation, then the drywall and the ceiling below.
Okay, all right, that seems to match up with what we've seen previously. Well, we can take this off your hands for a while and take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm happy for the help. I am baffled by this one.
What can you tell me about his personal life? Did he have any friends, any enemies?
Carterson, he was on the football team, not a quarterback, but people liked him as far as we can tell. Popular at school. You know, he's gotten in trouble a few times. Nothing crazy, typical teenage bullshit. You know,
what kind of typical teenage bullshit?
You know, trying to get people to buy him beers, a little bit of petty vandalism, smashing mailboxes with baseball bats, you know, TPing a house on Halloween.
Whose house did he TP?
A few.
Any other students' houses?
I'd have to go through the reports. Give me some time, I can tell you.
Oh no, we'll take a look. But was he known as a bully or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. You'd have to talk to the school about that. We haven't gotten that far in the investigation. We only got the call last night. Most of the time has been spent examining the body and extricating it from the house.
All right. Well, we sure would appreciate it if you could show us the ME's report when he's done. Or she.
Do you want to go talk to him? He's downstairs.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah, I'll bring you down there. She stands up. She grabs her mug of coffee and takes a swig and then grimaces, puts it down. Yeah, come on. So she leads you out of her office, brings you down the hall, down a flight of stairs to the morgue where it's a lot colder. She walks in and you see a man in a lab coat. He's got latex gloves on and one of those big plastic face shields over his face. She says, "Dr. Halper, did you start that autopsy yet?" He turns around. "Oh, detective, no. I was just getting ready to. Do you want to stick around? Who are these people?" So they're from the FBI. They're taking over the case, but they still wanted to get your report.
So, have you removed the body from the floor yet?
Yeah. So you see behind him, there's I don't know what they would call them, one of the operating tables they have in the morgues, the big stainless steel ones. Yeah. With there's a body with a sheet over it, and you can see that the middle is tented up.
Yeah.
It's a very odd shape, and the coroner tilts his head back at it and says, "Yeah, cut it out a few hours ago. Had to get the Sawzall and a construction crew to do it. I can give you my preliminary findings if you want."
That would be appreciated.
All right. Just put on some gloves. He gestures. There's a box of latex gloves. So you pull on some gloves.
I type a real quick note into my phone.
Okay.
And kind of just very, very quickly kind of tilt it in Agent Malay's direction that says, should we get the body out of here before he does the full autopsy?
She kind of shakes her head, just kind of shrugs because how are we? Johnson didn't give us any real resources at our disposal for keeping this quiet, and nobody seems to have believed it. So, unless you give us a moment. She like
sure.
kind of drags you into the hall and like in a hushed whisper says, "What do you know anybody else who can do an autopsy?"
I mean, no, but if this guy cuts this piece of floor any farther back, he's going to see that the kid's body is completely melded in with the floor, and then whatever serial killer bullshit we dream up, it's not going to fly anymore. At least now we can just say that somehow the serial killer rebuilt the floor around, into the body and around it. But, if it's like 50-50, some kind of, body floor melted together stuff.
Yeah. All right. Out of character, does legit government DG do green boxes? Would there be a local place we could stick this kid's corpse where?
It might not be cold, but yeah, you maybe get a big styrofoam cooler and some dry ice. You can keep them from smelling for a little bit.
Oh God, it's horrible.
Yeah. Or you could call in some sort of like CDC threat that he needs to be quarantined and the body is to not be touched.
Yeah. Okay. We could do something like that. That the serial killer has a thing for rigging the body.
He builds them into a floor and then injects them with Ebola.
Yeah. Okay. We can at least buy some time and then maybe get it transferred to a DG. Do we have?
Yeah, maybe
coroners.
Or your other option would be to indoctrinate the coroner. Indoctrinate's the wrong word. Recruit.
Huh.
Well, I mean, I just met this person literally seconds ago, and I have no idea whether or not they'd be reliable, friendly. So,
no, you don't. Well, you could find how well they handle this body might be a good indication.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we'll watch. I'm gonna. We have the phone number for our contact. Correct.
Yeah, your handler.
Our handler. Yes.
Yes, you do.
All right. So I will send that number a text. Medical examiner about to perform autopsy. Should we intervene? Are resources available locally?
A minute later, you get a text back. Need to determine COD. Use judgments. Green boxes available.
Is
All
she
right.
telling us to do the autopsy? Have you ever done an autopsy? Is that like a normal thing?
I have not. I'm not bad at a crime scene, but once the instruments come out, I usually demur. All right. So I guess let's watch the ME as he's like starting the examination. We'll see what his reaction is. If we need to, we can always stop and
Give the
make up.
Ebola story.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you walk back in. Corner. Everything all right?
Yes.
All right. Well, here I'll show you. Before we start, he pulls the sheet back, and you see a teenage boy. He looks about 17. His eyes are closed now. His face is a relaxed mask of death, and right below his belly button is carpet, and you see a chunk of the floor. And then it comes back right above his thighs, or it stops right above his thighs. There's still insulation in there, and wood, and the sheetrock from the ceiling above. So, the detective told me that you've seen something like this before. So, just take a look real quick. Do either of you have any medical skills?
I have forensics.
I also have forensics at 30%.
Okay. What's your forensics act, Steve?
50.
50. Okay. So you don't have to roll. You this forensics will work for this. So you lean in, and the coroner points to right at the guy's stomach. So see, he's not. The floor hasn't been built around him. It looks like he's part of it. And you look and you see that where his skin, if like someone had put flooring back around him, you would expect to see a line like where the floor hit the skin. There's no line. It's like someone took a Photoshop tool and blurred that line where the skin and the floor meets, and it's just one thing. And he said, and the coroner says, it's the same everywhere I looked at all the edges with the. He points down at the sheetrock, and you can see where the sheetrock and his leg meet is just sort of one smooth piece. Like his leg just extends into the sheetrock, and there's no seam. It's just one solid piece. It's like I've never seen anything like this before.
Okay, so out of character, that thing we were worried about them noticing, they have already noticed.
Yeah. Also, make a sand check.
56 out of 84.
27 out of 43.
Okay. You're both good, so you can mark off. Oh no, you did not lose sand. That's only when you lose sand. So from before, when you both lost sand, you can check off one for violence. I forgot.
Okay.
From that first scene in the boardroom. So yeah, this is not good, but you've probably maybe seen worse. The coroner says, "All right, I'm gonna start the autopsy. I'm gonna have to mark you into the official record."
Is the detective still here?
Yeah, she's standing in the back of the room.
So she's in on it too.
You can, I mean, you could tell her to leave if you want.
Detective, if you really don't want to be a part of this, then there's no reason you need to stick around.
All right.
I know
Well
you
then,
don't really
good
care
luck.
for this case.
If you need me for anything, you know where to find me.
Oh, thank you very much.
Good luck.
What was the detective's name again?
Moira something. I wrote it down. Browning.
Browning. Okay.
So she leaves. The coroner hits the button on the microphone to record. He says, Dr. Halper performing the autopsy on Adam Carterson, age 17. Witnessing are agents Clavin and DeGuardi from the FBI. And he starts, making the Y incision. So you watch as he starts to, make the incision. So he cuts the body open, and you see him start to root around inside. Both of you make sand checks again for watching the autopsy.
All right.
72 out of 84.
That one I fail. 56 out of 43.
Just take one, Ryan.
Okay.
You're fine, Steve. It's not pretty. He's like scooping around his insides, pulling out his heart and weighing it, pulling out his liver, examining everything. And he gets down to his intestines, and you see him in the corner just, holy fuck. You should see this. And he waves you two over. He moves a bunch of intestine out of the way, and you see carpet inside the kid's stomach. Like the floor is inside him.
Okay. Can I hum in the doctor? Like.
Sure.
Me too.
What is your hum in at?
60.
60 here too.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to roll for that. He's confused and freaking out. Not a lot, but his eyes are wide, and he is like, what the how did they get floor inside of him?
Just from observing him up until now, does he seem like a talkative guy, like the loose lips at all?
Right. Is he going right to the papers with this?
It's hard to tell. You've only seen him for like a half hour, and most of that has been while he's been working.
Right.
Yeah. What did you know what this is?
We have seen something similar before.
Jesus Christ.
Product of a very sick individual.
How is this even possible?
Well, have you seen those plasticine bodies at those art exhibits?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Can I roll persuade?
You can roll deception.
I don't think there is a deception.
You're right,
Only
it is persuade. Never mind.
So I have an 80 in persuade.
Oh, all right. Well, then you don't have to roll.
Oh.
He gives you a look like he doesn't quite believe you because he is a doctor, but he doesn't have a better explanation, so he decides to accept what you say because it's better than thinking of alternatives. Yeah, right. Those plasticine body things.
But here's the thing, Doctor. This is officially a serial investigation, and I'm sure you've heard that in these kind of investigations, it's important to leave details out of the public record so that we have information we can use to extract a truthful confession from whoever may come forward one day.
Look, if you're worried about me going to the press, you don't have to worry about that. I hate those sons of bitches.
Okay.
No one ever comes talk to the coroner. They're going to be looking for you and the detective.
Yep, and we can handle it.
All right.
But this also needs to not go to other officers in this police department, unfortunately. This is a very, very touchy area.
Right. So keep it quiet.
Just you and the two of us.
Well, all right. Well, if I had to guess, I would say the cause of death was this. The flooring inside his body.
Okay.
He reaches in with a scalpel and like cuts a little piece out of the inside, and puts it on a microscope slide, and then looks at it. He says, "It's like it's the floor and his body at the same time. Like there's pieces of wood in here and his skin in the same place." He turns away. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to make of that.
Well, can you take a look at the tissue that passed through the floor, or theoretically would have passed through the floor, in the way it was staged? Do the legs look any different?
He moves down. He starts examining the legs. He says, "It does. I don't see anything different. They look fine." He cuts a little sample of skin off the back of his leg, and puts it on a microscope slide and looks at it. He says, the skin cells seem a little damaged, but nothing that would cause any real harm."
Damaged how? Like bruising, or?
I don't even know how to say it. You could take a look if you want.
I gestured towards Agent Malay to see if she would like to take a look.
Sure. She
Okay.
sighs and walks over.
Do you have any science or medical skills? I don't think forensics would work for this one.
I've got forensics at 30%.
Anything else?
This is not my strong suit. So,
No,
wait. I have this pregen is so weird. I have surgery at 20%. I have no medicine.
Okay.
You could have done the autopsy.
Yeah.
You could have done the autopsy. Yeah. Yeah. Roll surgery. You have to roll
Okay.
for this one.
Let's see. I made it on the nose. 20 out of 20.
Okay. So you took some biology classes back in college, and you remember having to look at animal cells under a microscope. These, you remember them being basically round, not a perfect circle, but round-ish. These kind of look like the edge of the cells is a little wavy in parts. It's hard to imagine how this might have happened or what this would do, but they look weird.
Okay.
His legs look fine though. There's nothing. Looking at them, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with his legs. The coroner bends the knee and moves all the joints, and they're stiff because he's dead, but they all work. But that's the cells of his skin at least seem a little weird.
All right. I don't think we're going to learn anything else here. We probably best move on to the interviews.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Doc. Why don't you wrap up the autopsy, and we'll be back around for the report.
Yeah. I'll keep looking, and if I find anything else, I'll put it in my official report and send it your way.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Helper.
Yeah, sure. And he turns to get back to work as you guys walk out. Take your gloves off and toss them in the bin. So where are you heading to next?
School or parents? What do you think?
I think school is liable to give us a more accurate representation of who he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of jibing on your bully theory.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's about a 20-minute drive to the school. When you get there, it's probably by this point like early afternoon, 1 p.m. ish. So school is still in session. Most of it, as you pull up, you see there's like a few kids standing in front of the building, like in a circle, hugging each other. It's much more muted than you would expect, a typical high school to be. It seems like everyone's heard about Adam's death, and kids are taking it hard.
Seem like all the kids are taking it hard, or just specific kids? Or more specifically, does it seem like there are any kids that aren't taking it hard?
Not that you could see just walking in. I mean, it's not like people are running through the halls going, "Woo, Adam's dead!" But some are taking it harder than others. It's a school of about 1,000, so there's a good number of kids there. Most of them probably didn't know him anyway.
Yeah. But
it's still a muted day at school. Like, people are quiet while they're walking through the halls. It's that no one's like having a party right now.
Okay. So
are you going to the main office?
Yeah.
Principal's office.
Oh, wow. I forgot to name the principal. Come on, random name generator. Oh, wow. I can't even pronounce those words. Really? Okay. One of the words it gave me was Dan. Principal Dan Ruslik.
Ruslik.
All right.
So you go to the main office. You show your badges to the secretary behind the desk, and she brings you right into the principal's office. He looks haggard as well. It seems like a lot of people here are having a rough day, and he gestures to the seats. Agents, is it? Do I call it detectives? I'm not sure. I've never had to deal with the FBI before.
Agents is fine. We say exactly the same time. We both watch the same shows. Oh, yeah, I've watched the shows. You've actually done it.
Yeah.
Right, agents.
Principal Ruslik, we're working with local law enforcement. We're looking into the death of Adam Carterson. We were hoping that maybe you could fill us in on anything that we might need to know about Mr. Carterson before we proceed any further.
Do you think that someone did something to him?
Well, we're exploring all possibilities at this point. Obviously, chances are it was some sort of freak accident, but it's best to be thorough.
He nods. Yes. Yeah. Of course.
Really quickly though, before we start, could you send off an email to an assistant or something, and have them email this email address on it? Have them email me all the school records as far as grades and of anybody who's been in classes with Mr. Carterson.
Sure. He just Brenda, and you see a woman sticks her head in. Could you? And he said, "Could you get this agent? Do you want an email or a printout?"
Email would be great. Also, anybody who Mr. Carterson has been known to hang out with, or potentially maybe does not like Mr. Carterson. If Mr. Carterson has had any run-ins with any other students, that would be great.
Brenda nods and goes back. He says, "Yeah, Brenda will get that to you pretty quickly. She's great." Yeah. So what did you want to know?
I suppose first impression off the top of your head, what kind of a student is Mr. Carterson? Is he intelligent, well liked? Has he had any disciplinary issues in the past?
Well liked, yes. He wasn't a great student. He wasn't terrible. He was average. Um, he was great on the football team. Coach loved him. I think he was running back. Really good too.
College prospect.
Could be. We're getting to the end of junior year and his junior year, and that's could certainly wouldn't hurt. I'm not sure if he was looking at anything yet, but could have had potential, I'd say. He had a few disciplinary measures. I mean, I've definitely had worse students.
What sort of discipline?
He got detention a few times for skipping class. One time, he decided to draw a penis on the whiteboard under the screen, so when the teacher lifted it up, it was there.
What teacher was that?
Oh, I think that was Mr. Johnson, his science teacher.
Okay.
Any
Any run-ins with other students?
He had been caught by teachers bullying some students. None of the students ever reported anything, and none of the teachers thought anything rose to the need of suspension, but mostly verbal. At least that's what the teachers saw.
And do you know which students those were? Or?
Oh, yes. Give me one moment. I have it written down. Yeah, one of them was Nicholas Johnson. No relation to the science teacher. And the other was Kieran Mordecai.
All right. And was there anyone who Mr. Carterson was particularly friendly with, his teammates on the football team, or?
Oh yeah, every one of them. They're a tight-knit group.
Any of the other football players have bullying issues?
Look, it's a high school in Texas. The football team is the top of the pack. So yeah, we've had some issues.
Who's the top of the pack on the football team? Or what was it, Carterson or somebody else?
No. Quarterback, Michael Rodkin.
And has he had any run-ins with either of the two students you named before, Mordecai or Johnson?
Possibly. Nothing that we've ever gotten reports on.
Okay. I look over at Malay to see if she has anything else.
I think it might be a good idea for us to speak to the teacher and some of the students. You mentioned that Mr. Johnson had difficulty with Mr. Carterson at the time a while back.
Oh yeah, I don't think it was serious, but if you want to talk to him, I can bring him down here.
Yeah. Well, how long until school's out?
He looks up at the clock. About an hour.
Maybe if we spoke to the students first, and then maybe we'll be able to grab the teacher after his class.
Well, I can't let you speak to the students without either myself or one of their parents present.
You can sit him.
All right, very well. Who do you want to talk to?
What do you think, Ren?
I suppose we should start with Rodkin, and maybe you should cross-reference the two names that we got, Mordecai and other Johnson, out of character with the material that you pulled up about their math scores.
Yeah.
About this time, Brenda, your phone buzzes and you have an email from Brenda with the information that you wanted about the class.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your SIGINT at?
60.
60. What about computer science?
50.
Okay, you don't have to roll. So you take a few minutes and just basically stare at your phone while the principal is waiting for the students to come down, and you notice that Rodkin, the quarterback, has 2 classes with Carterson, and one of the students he bullied, Mordecai, has quite a few classes with him.
Do either Mordecai, Johnson, or Rodkin take music class?
Mordecai does. It also
What
noted
are
that
his grades like? Oh, sorry.
in music, well, he's also a member of the after-school music club,
Okay.
and his grades. So Mordecai's grades in general, or what are you looking for?
Yeah, like what are his math and music grades like?
His general grades are like mid 80s, nothing spectacular. His music grade is 100.
Okay. And Johnson, is he a standout math student or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
he seems okay, like 90-ish.
So I scribbled down on a piece of paper Mordecai, and then I put down his music grade and the fact that he has what classes he has with
Yeah, it
Carterson,
says like music. He's got a bunch.
and pass that over to Agent Malay.
All right. All right. I look at it and I nod. I kind of lean over and whisper. From what I saw, the music professor was the one who got a line on this, but she really got it working with the math teacher. I think you probably need some serious maths to get this going, but I don't know what kind of instructions or materials they posted online. So it is possible that they could have dummied it down enough to make it work without, being the next Fields medalist.
Can I stick my head out the door and find the assistant that emailed me the information and ask her to bring us their file on the teacher, Mr. Johnson?
Sure. Yeah. She. That's a lot easier. They have a filing cabinet. She opens it up.
And paper's fine.
Yeah. She just. Oh, she. Do you want a copy, or do you just want to read it?
I'm gonna read it and then get a copy if we need it.
Okay. So she basically just opens a filing cabinet and gives you Mr. Johnson's file.
So I take that back in with Malay while we're waiting. And does he have a math degree, or what kind of science is he?
He is a. Fuck it. He's a biology teacher.
Okay, not a very
Right,
science,
so yeah.
not a very mathy science.
Yeah.
One of the least mathy sciences.
Yeah.
His degree, you can see he has a master's in teaching from Dallas University. I don't know. And he has a bachelor's in biology.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay.
He's been with this. You could look at his record. He's been with the school 15 years. No, I mean, like 1 or 2 complaints from parents about, he's being unfair to my child, but honestly, that's to be expected. No one has a perfectly sterling record. Nothing from from Carterson's parents. There is a note that he sentenced Carterson to detention for drawing the penis on the board.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
It seems unlikely that this guy's involved, but just to be safe, I'm gonna look to see if Mordecai had any classes with him.
With Mr. Johnson?
With Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, he has biology with him.
Okay, so maybe. Doubtful though.
Yeah.
So about that time, Michael Rodkin comes in. You wanted to see me, Mr. Ruslick? Yeah, Michael, come in. These 2 people are from the FBI. They wanted to ask you some questions about Adam. So the principal has like a little conference table in his office, So you move over to that. The principal sits down next to Michael, and you two are on the other side. He looks really sad. Oh,
Hello,
yeah. What do you?
Mr. Rodkin. We're sorry to bother you. I know this is a really trying time for everybody in the school, but we just want to be thorough in investigating Mr. Carterson's death, and just had a few questions for you about your relationship with him.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Well, I suppose first of all, how long were you? How long did you know Mr. Carterson? Friends since elementary school, or
Yeah.
just met on the
knew
football
Adam.
team?
No. I mean, I've been friends with Adam since elementary school, so like 10 years.
And you've always been friends?
Yeah. I mean, we used to play on the local team together, and then in middle school we did JV. And now we're both on the football team.
In the 10 years that you've known him, did you ever know him to have any enemies?
What? No. Everyone fucking loves Adam. And the teacher, hey, language. Sorry, Mr. Russell, but everyone loved him.
Hummint on him?
Yeah. What's your hummint?
60.
You don't have to roll. He's not lying, but he's not telling you everything.
I mean, Mr. Rodkin, I'm also 60 on Humant, so
Yeah,
I picked that up too.
Yeah.
Mr. Rodkin, it's high school. I understand how things are. He may be a great guy, but not everybody loves anyone in high school.
He like looks down at the table for a bit. He's like, yeah, well, some of the you could tell he's about to curse, and he looks over at the principal. I mean, some of the other kids didn't necessarily like him a lot. I mean, sometimes Adam like picked on one or two, but it was all for fun. No one ever got hurt.
Well, just out of curiosity, who did he pick on?
I mean, freaking Kieran. He's just so weird. Adam loved to pick on him.
Oh, does Kieran have any good friends he hangs out with?
Kieran? No. Nobody likes Kieran.
Okay. So, what are you planning to do after high school? Obviously, go on and play college football somewhere. But what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about majoring in?
Well, I was gonna major in business, so that way I could, take over my dad's tow truck company.
Okay.
I can almost see the MAGA hat.
It's growing.
Yeah.
And he says he definitely wants to make it Rodkin and Son, but I have to go to college for that.
So this guy's sorry.
Go ahead. I was gonna say. You said that he would pick on Mordecai, just for fun. Nobody ever got hurt. What sort of stuff went on?
I mean, you've been to high school. Like sometimes he'd like knock his books out of the hand or call him a faggot, and like poke him in class. And one time, it was pretty funny. One time he took Kieran's violin or whatever and ran it all the way up the flagpole. That was pretty good. The principal says, "Now, Mr. Rodkin, that's not something." Oh no, I mean no, it wasn't. It wasn't funny.
All right. Well, Mr. Rodkin, thank you for your candor. We deeply appreciate it. If you think of anything else, I'm gonna write my number down. I'm gonna write down the number of my burner phone. Please give us a call.
Yeah, okay. So should I go back to class now?
I look over at the principal.
Oh, yes, if you're done, yes. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, okay. He gets up and leaves.
I think we can speak with Kieran now, if you don't mind, Principal.
Oh, no. I'll call him down. Just give us a minute. So is there anything you'd like to do quickly while you're waiting for Kieran to show up?
Yeah, I want to quickly print off the top 20 or so best math test scores in the school.
In the whole school? Sure.
Yeah. And then give them either to the principal if he's around or the assistant who helped me out earlier and ask them if Kieran hangs out with any of those kids.
Okay. So you get those names. It's probably, honestly, it's faster if you like jot them down.
Sure.
And so you hand it to the principal, and he's, no, unfortunately, Mr. Mordecai doesn't really hang out with anyone. He doesn't have any friends that I know of.
Okay.
Rather reclusive boy. It happens sometimes.
Violinist.
Among others, from what I've heard.
Multi-instrument.
Miss Fogarty says that he's the most gifted musician she's ever seen. Miss Fogarty is our music teacher.
Principal, would it be all right if I spoke to Agent Malay very privately for just a moment?
Oh,
sorry, Agent. I said it the correct way. Agent DeJordi, quickly for a moment.
Oh yes, that's the fake name you gave me. Yeah, I'll go see where Mordecai is, and he leaves his office for you.
So do we just like kill this kid?
Well, I would think not. I think we need to find out what he's been doing, if anything, and where he got the notion to do it from. If he is a member of one of those forums, we have that list of the places where the what's his name, Dr. Radovan and Professor Shaw posted their weird musical formulae, right? Or
yeah.
Okay, so we can just like hit him with that,
Sure.
and hopefully he won't like play us into oblivion.
Can I say I have a burner?
You both have burner phones.
Okay.
Yeah, they gave them to us.
Yeah. The organization gave you burner phones.
Yeah, so I look at DeJordi and I say, maybe we should go soft on this one so that we don't end up melding into any floors. Give them the idea that we're just kind of doing a background and don't have any real idea what's going on. Play dumb, kind of.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try a little thing to get his phone number, and maybe we can... there's this thing I use, and it's kind of my specialty with the IRS. It's called Stingray, where we can pull data off of cell phones from towers. Maybe we can figure out what websites he's gone to if I can get his cell phone number.
All right. I'll let you take the lead on that one. I don't really have any SIGINT.
Yeah. So maybe if you just started off and just go real like dumb on it and pretend that we're just kind of bumbling around and just interviewing everybody who's had contacts with them. And then I'll just see what I can do about the phone number.
Try to get his digits. I got you. All right, so I guess then we wait for Mr. Mordecai to come in.
Okay, yeah. So a minute later, the principal walks back in, escorting another young boy. He's a sullen-looking boy. His eyes are down on the ground. He's carrying a violin case with both hands in front of him. And he said, "Mr. Kieran, this is Agents Clevin and DeGuardia, they're from the FBI. They want to ask you a few questions about Adam. And he sits down at the table next to him. Kieran doesn't look up at you. He just stares down at the table.
Well, thank you for coming to speak with us, Mr. Mordecai, Kieran. We just have a few preliminary questions. We're trying to get a sense of the deceased's character, his personality, who he palled around with. We understand that you and he had something of a troubled relationship.
Kieran still looks down at the table, and for a second he goes, "No, it's fine."
Okay. Would you mind telling me you knew the deceased then? You know him well, or just sort of a passing acquaintance?
He was in some classes.
I'm a little new to the area. All one elementary school, or did you have feeder schools into the high school?
Are you asking him or out of character?
What happened?
Are you asking him or are you asking out of character?
I'm asking him.
There's 3 elementary schools.
3. All right. You guys go to the same elementary school?
No.
No. All right. So when did you meet?
Middle school.
And you guys were just kind of passing acquaintances through the whole thing?
Yeah.
Well, Kieran, one of the reasons we brought you in is because we've heard that he's been bullying a Nicholas Johnson. Do you know anything about that? We just saw that you're in several classes with him, and maybe that you might have some information on it.
No.
Nothing. Okay. Well, kind of grasping around at straws here anyway. But I heard you're a real good violin player.
Thanks.
Where'd you learn it?
I taught myself.
Really?
Wow, that is incredible.
With YouTube.
Could you play us something?
I don't want to.
Oh, I understand. I things I'm good at. I like to. I'm very sensitive about them. I don't like to share them with people.
Do you play in the orchestra or the band or?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, if you think of anything else, I'm going to give you this phone number. Do you have your phone with you? This is my last card. So, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
Can you just maybe type this number into your phone and send me a text? That way, I'll have your phone if I need to call you, and you'll have mine. I'm not going to call you, obviously. If I do call you, I'll speak to your parents first and get their okay, all that kind of sort of stuff. But it's good to have it.
Okay. He pulls out his phone. So what do you tell him to type in?
I just want him to send me a text to
Okay.
my phone number.
Yeah,
my burner.
he does. Your phone beeps a second later. You have a text from him.
Perfect. Well, hey, we're real sorry once again for your loss.
We don't want to take up any more of your time.
Can I human him when I say we're really sorry for your loss to see how he reacts to that?
Sure. Make a roll for that one.
I also want to do that.
Yeah.
55 out of 60.
I don't crit, but I just make it 56 out of 60.
So he's really hard to read. He doesn't look you in the eyes. He doesn't show any emotion. He's been giving you like one-word answers for everything, as you can tell. When you say "I'm sorry for your loss," Rajit, you see just for a split second a flicker of a grin on his face. And then he just goes, "Yeah."
All right. Well, I know there are counselors on grief counselors on campus. Since you two, obviously weren't great friends, but you've known each other for quite a while. I recommend you speak to somebody.
I'm fine.
Okay. Well, you know yourself the best.
Can I go?
Yep. You're free to go. Thank you for your time again.
And he gets up, grabs his violin, and just walks out. The principal says, "Yes." So you could see why he doesn't have any friends.
He seems rather reserved.
Yeah, that's one word for it.
Has he been like that his entire time here?
As long as I've known him.
Seems to have quite the musical talent, though.
Oh, yes. Miss Fogarty can't stop gushing about him.
Miss Fogarty. Could I get her file?
Oh, yeah, sure. Brenda! It's a minute later, Brenda brings in Miss Fogarty's file. Amelia Fogarty. She is the school's sole music teacher. She conducts the band and the orchestra, and she runs an after-school music club, which is vaguely defined. It's just the after-school, it's just the music club. Like if kids want to come practice, or she does lessons, like if someone wants to learn how to play guitar. She also does a composition workshop. So if kids want to like work on writing their own music, she can help them with that too.
What's her resume look like?
Good. She has a music degree from a local liberal arts college and a master's in teaching. It seems like this seems to be from her file. This is, she wanted to be a music teacher. Like that's what she wanted to do, and she is doing it. She's younger. She's about 35, 36. She's been with the school for just about 10 years. Yeah, no complaints or anything against her in her file. Again, anything, no out of the ordinary complaints.
Is Miss Fogarty a very good musician herself? Principal Ruslick?
She plays multiple instruments. From what I understand, she's fine. The students seem to like her. She always conducts them in a good chorus, not a chorus, a good concert. We do 2 a year, one at the holidays, and then one again at the end of the year. And they're always delightful. The parents seem to like them. Of course, parents will like anything you put their kids in, so they're not the best judges of talent. But yeah, as far as she's definitely a good music teacher.
Maybe we should speak to her real quickly before we head out. I look over to Agent DeJordi and I say, I don't think we need to talk to Mr. Johnson, do you?
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, well,
either of them.
She's probably still in her classroom. If you want to, I could bring you down there if you'd like.
That'd be great.
That'd be lovely. Sure.
So he leads you through the halls to the music room. So it's one of the larger single classrooms in the building. I don't know if you've ever been in a music classroom, Steve. It's got tiered levels. So the orchestra, while they're playing, they can all see her.
Sure.
So it's set up like an amphitheater without the seats.
Yeah.
So all the seats are pushed to the side. So you walk in, there's music stands set up at some places, and chairs, and just regular chairs that can be moved. No desks. There's posters of musicians on the wall with like inspirational. You can play it, kind of stuff like that. There's a big baby grand piano down at the center, the foot of the classroom, and you see Miss. Wow, I'm staring. Fogarty, yeah. Wow, sorry. Miss Fogarty, she's leaning against the piano doing some paperwork. And she looks up. Oh, Principal Ruslick, what can I do for you?
I look over. Well, I guess I'll let him introduce us first.
Yeah, he introduces you. These agents are from the FBI. They're looking into Mr. Carterson's death, and they asked to speak with you.
Principal Ruslick, I think we can probably handle this from here. We may be back tomorrow to speak to some more students. We haven't really gotten anything of interest today. Just trying to see what else we can put together.
Of course, I'm here to help. If you need anything, just call the school.
Great. Thank you very much.
He nods and walks out.
Was Carterson in any of Fogarty's classes?
No.
Okay. Then why are we talking to her?
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing. I know we know from the files, Miss Fogarty, that you didn't have Mr. Carson in any of your classes.
No, he was not much of a musician. Music in the school is an elective. Students have to take one art class, but usually they go with one of the drawing or painting classes.
So I guess we're just trying to get a general sense of the community. Did you happen to know anybody who was close to the deceased? Any friends or anyone else on the football team also doubling on the orchestra?
One or two of the football kids took music. I mean, lots of people in the school knew of Greg. He wasn't. Wait, Greg? No, that's the wrong name.
Adam.
Wow, sorry. They knew of Adam. Football's big around here. I wouldn't say I had any of his friends in my class.
Well, that's actually why we came to you. We wanted to hear what someone who never really had Carterson in their classes, but probably has heard a lot of, I'll just say it, gossip. I mean, things float around the school, but you're not attached to him in any way. We figured someone like you might be able to tell us a little bit.
Give us a clearer picture.
Yeah, well, I mean, from what I've heard from the other faculty, he was an okay student. Nothing special, but nothing terrible. I know he used to pick on a few of the other kids. One of my students, Kieran Mordecai, told me once that Mr. Carterson damaged his violin, and Kieran loves his violin. That was a few months back, probably about 3 months ago. Kieran doesn't talk much. It's very, very rare to get him to open up about anything. But he was upset because he wanted to practice after school and couldn't. But I told him that I knew someone who could fix it, and he was actually excited about that.
So you've had something of a breakthrough with Mr. Mordecai.
I don't know if I'd call it that. He is my best student. He's the most gifted musician I've ever met. He can pick up a new instrument and play it in days. I can play a piece for him once, and he'll play it right back. He started composing his own pieces, and they're beautiful. He used to come after school every day. I have special. She gestures to a back office. There's like 3 computers set up. Composition software that makes it a little easier to compose pieces, and he would come by after school and stay for hours working on music.
I was going to ask about that because I'd always heard that that music composition is very math based.
Yeah, it can be. There's depending on who you speak to, music is either art or science. I have heard, I've read papers about people using math in music. There are some similarities. But
so this program kind of takes the math out of it.
Well, no, it's not. It's basically it helps you compose for different instruments. It plays back the music as you work, so you can sort of hear what the piece sounds like. And so if you need a piano part, you can write that in, and then if you need a flute part, let's say, you could write that in and then play them at the same time to see how they sound together, as opposed to just writing it and then performing it individually and trying to figure out how it all meshes together. It helps you do that all at once.
Well, that's amazing. I myself am a great fan of music. I never had the ability to play, but I love to listen. And we were speaking to Kieran earlier, and I'd asked him to play the violin for me, and he wasn't willing, which I understand. But
he can be shy at times.
do you have any of his compositions that he's put together? I'd just love to hear it.
Make a what's your persuasion at?
80.
Oh yeah, okay. She looks looks around for a second and bites her lip, like she knows she probably shouldn't without Kieran's permission. But she said, oh, okay, yeah, it's too.
I actually have a friend in the business. This could be big for this kid.
Oh well, yeah, sure, absolutely. Follow me. She leads you to the back office and turns on one of the computers. He was working on this a few weeks ago. He hasn't been by recently. He stopped coming after school, said he was working on something at home instead. But this is the most recent piece he put together. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's complete, but here.
We don't need to hear it right now. We really need to get out of here pretty soon. Maybe if you could just put it on this USB drive, we'll take it with us, and I'll pass it on to my friend.
Oh, sure. So you hand her a flash drive, and she copies it over. It's just labeled like Kieran 4. Here you go.
Sorry, I've taken us completely off topic. Agent DeJordy, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
No, I think we've gotten about all we can from you, Miss Fogarty. Thank you so much for your time, and again, we really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm down to my last card. Let me give you my phone number. If you could,
You're doing the same thing.
Yeah, text me. Yeah,
that's fine. She does.
Okay.
Thank goodness we have someone who's good at cell phones and signal.
I actually made this character specifically based on the weaknesses I heard in Calls to the Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no SIGINT.
And not much Persuade. So I was like, okay, Persuade and SIGINT.
Yeah, those are always good things to have. Okay, so you walk out of the classroom. Where are you heading to?
Well, do we want to speak to the deceased parents? I mean, they went to the movies, but we could find out if he had anybody over that night, or if they noticed anything strange as they were leaving, or...
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So you
on the way,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to send an email to my buddy in the NSA, or well, not my buddy, but my contact who normally gets me data for my IRS job, and tell him that we have 2 people who we suspect may be sheltering money, and that we need all of their Stingray information.
I'm going to make you roll persuasion for that one.
All right.
Persuade.
79 out of 80.
Okay. He emails you back. He's like, yeah, sure thing, buddy. Give me about an hour.
All right.
So, yeah, he's working on it.
45 minutes for him to get coffee, 15 minutes for him to actually get the data.
Exactly. No, 10 minutes to get the data, 5 minutes to just wait.
All right. In the meantime, I'm going to. We brought what's his name, Dr. Radovan, into custody. Correct.
From the last game. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to send what's her name, Johnson. Another Johnson.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the music file, and just say have the asset look at this and see if it's extrapolated from or in any way related to his work with Dr. Shaw.
Yeah, she says she will.
Is Radovan the math teacher or the music teacher?
The math teacher.
Okay.
The music teacher got turned into an inhuman monster and was killed with shotguns.
Got it. On the way, I'm also going to look over at. I'm just going to call you DeJordy from now on, so I don't screw up.
Yeah.
At Agent DeJordy and say, "Whoa, am I doing okay? Because I'm really just floundering around out here."
No, you're a rock star, kid. It's really great.
I'm really good at bullshitting, I'll tell you, but I'm not very good at anything else.
Well, you've been very impressive so far. If we do have to do anything unpleasant, maybe you better let me take the lead.
Okay, you got it.
So yeah, I guess we'll after we send off our clues in the making, we will go and speak to Mr. Carson's parents.
Okay.
Carterson.
Carterson. Yeah. So you get to their house. Wait, where are my notes? There we go. David and Patricia are his parents. You could see that there are a bunch of cars out front. Probably you don't know. And if you want, you can make a perception check as you pull up. If you want to look at the place.
What is
search or
No.
awareness?
I keep saying perception. It is.
Alertness, probably.
Yeah.
All right.
Or search is the only other similar.
I would say alertness, not really search.
That's not bad.
89 out of 50.
And I got 34 out of 50.
Okay. Rajit, it's a house.
No, it's a nice house.
Yeah, no, it's a nice house.
Yeah.
35 out of 50, though. As you're walking up to the front door, Ryan, what's your character's name?
Angelina.
Angelina, that's it. So as you're walking up to the front door, you looking at the front of the house, and you see that part of the siding in one area looks maybe like basketball sized, looks warped, and it looks. Do you ever see a pond or a body of water that got frozen mid wave? So it kind of has that ripple effect on top.
All right.
It looks kind of like that.
Didn't you say his cells were kind of ripply?
Yeah, the edges of the.
It doesn't look quite like that. It looks. I mean, the best way I can describe it is a pond that got frozen in a windstorm. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that before, but it's like imagine a little wave on the surface of the water, imagine someone dropped a pebble into a pond, and created ripples, and then it froze right away.
Sure.
All right.
I saw this once on the wire. Maybe if we well, I got to get inside first. But maybe if we take a string and tie it from where those ripples are to where the hole is, see if the trajectory is right and something like that.
We're also going to have to swear at each other a lot.
Yeah. Fuck.
Fuck.
Oh fuck. Knock on the door. Fuck.
Okay, so you open the door, and a young woman answers it. Can I help you?
Hi, yes. I'm Special Agent Lisa DeJordi. This is my partner, Special Agent Henry Clavin.
Oh,
we're with the FBI. We're working with Detective Browning, looking into the unfortunate incident. We were wondering if we could speak with Mr. and Mrs. Carterson.
Oh, yeah, that's my aunt and uncle. My name's Nicole. I came over when I heard. Can you just wait here? I'll go get them. Come on in. So she gestures for you to come in. Leaves you in the foyer. Just 1 second. You can see that there's a bunch of people walking around. It seems like the family has come to help them. And a minute later, a man walks over. Can I help you?
Yes, Mr. Carterson. As I was just telling your niece, my name is Special Agent DeJordi, and this is my partner, Special Agent Clavin. We're working with Detective Browning, looking into the incident.
Sure. What can I do for you?
I look over at my partner, who is clearly much better with people than
Maybe you could start by just walking us through the night. What were you up to at the time?
My wife and I left at about 7 o'clock to go to the movies. Adam was home by himself. He's kind of been homebound. He was kind of homebound the last few days since his car was messed up at the school, and so he was home. We went out. We came back around a little after 10, and when we came in, we saw his legs in the living room ceiling, and he kind of points, and you look around the bend from the foyer, and you can see there's a hole in the ceiling that has been covered with a piece of plastic. And we were scared. At first we thought maybe it was a prank, like, he took his jeans and hung them from the ceiling. And we went upstairs to check on him, and that's where we found him. He was already dead.
Well, we're very sorry to hear that. Has he talked to you about any issues he's had with other people at school or anything like that?
No. He's talked about the football team. Talked about that a lot. He was a good kid.
Now I'm going to ask something very difficult here, but when you found him, what did his room look like? Where was his computer on? Was his TV on? Anything like that?
Maybe his TV was on. I don't really remember. I wasn't really looking at that.
Okay. Do you have his computer?
It should be up in his room.
We're going to need to take that, and we will get it back to you ASAP, but we just need our techs to take a look at it, make sure that he hasn't received any threats or anything like that.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Would you also... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, at this time, we still think it was an accident. I don't want you to think that there's anything going on here, but we want to rule out everything, and we want to be thorough on this, because this is a tragedy, and we never like it when a young man or woman with such prospects is taken from us.
Yeah. So should I just go get the computer?
Would you mind actually if we took a look at the scene, as it were?
It'd be helpful for us to see what it's like up there.
No, come on in. So he leads you through the house. You see everyone is staring at you as he leads you through to the stairs and upstairs to Adam's room.
On the way, can I really quickly guesstimate where that spot on the wall was and kind of laser point from it?
You're having a hard time figuring it out until you get into Adam's room and you realize that spot was outside his room. There's a window in his room, and the spot was like a foot next to that, so you could see that out the window. Like, you could see where you were, and you realize you're in the same spot.
Is there a ripple on this side?
There's not, but if you follow the line,
goes right over the hole.
Yeah.
What if I take the laser pointer, well, I'll wait till the dad leaves. But
so there's a laptop on the desk that you can grab. Yeah, this was where we found him. You see the hole. There's plastic over the floor in here too.
Would you mind giving us just a moment in here to look around and discuss things? We'll come down and let you know when we're all done.
Sure, yeah. He takes a step and walks out.
I kind of close the door behind him and just look at Malay and say, "Fuck,
motherfucker."
And then I open the window and I grab my laser pointer and I try to point it from the spot towards the street and see if there's a connecting, if it hits a spot on the street anywhere.
Oh yeah, I mean you could hit anywhere on the street from here. This part of the house faces the front. I mean, you're at the front of the house, which faces the street. So anywhere on the street could have been pointing.
But if I extended the line from where it hit him theoretically from where the hole is to the where the ripple is, and then out, would it go in a very specific direction?
Yeah, it goes to you get a direction in the front of the house. It looks like someone maybe on like the sidewalk or curb in the street, like around that area.
Okay.
Or I mean, you can't like get it down to the inch, but
right. Yeah. Just want a general direction.
Yeah, you've got a general idea.
Someone standing on the sidewalk could see in through the window to know where they were pointing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I just make a note of maybe what neighbors' houses are closest to that spot.
There's no house nearby. I mean, the closest one would be like across the street.
Okay.
Maybe someone to the right. But it's not like in front of a neighbor's house or anything.
Okay.
It's still in front of their house. It's just in the street right in front of it.
Yeah, got it.
Should see if the neighbors heard any strange noises.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe like a search or a forensics on the room?
Sure. Yeah. Either one.
All right.
I've got 50 in both.
Search is better for me.
All right, you do search, I'll do forensics.
All right.
Sure.
59, so I fail.
I just made that one 50 out of 51.
On search?
Search.
Okay. So you look around. There's nothing. You don't see. It doesn't seem like there's anything out of place. There's no sign of forced entry. The window is closed. It doesn't look like he had a chance to struggle. Like there's no signs of anything knocked over or broken. It looks like he just suddenly fell through the floor. And when you get, so it's weird, but your best guess is that someone outside did something that caused the floor or something to change, and he just
right through.
Quick rules question: I'm supposed to be checking skills that I miss, or that I?
Yeah, if you fail, you check it, and then you add 1 to it.
Got it. At the end. Got it. Forgot that part.
Yeah, same here. I don't think I failed anything except sand this session, though. So
yeah, well, because you don't have to roll if your skill is high enough. Usually,
yeah, you just get the clues.
Yep.
I just failed forensics, so okay, cool. And I failed an alertness when we got here. Cool.
Yeah, so you can check those both off.
All right, so I guess we'll take the laptop, see if he's been doing any cyberbullying. I think I have some suspicions if he has been, who he's been bullying.
Okay. It is password locked, so someone's going to have to use SIGINT to get it open.
Should we go quickly ask some neighbors if they heard any noises that night?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, we just go out and tell the parents that we're heading out and we appreciate their time and to give us a call if they have any questions.
Right. We'll get the laptop back to them as soon as our techs are done with it.
Sure. Yeah, they're really too in shock to do anything else. So you go out. You go to one of the neighbors' house. Are you going across the street or next door?
Why don't we split up and do one of each? And
sure.
We're just asking them if they heard a noise that night.
Right.
Sure. Okay. So who's going next door? Who's going across the street?
I guess I'll go next door.
Okay, I'll go across the street.
Okay. So all right. So we'll start with Angelina. So you go next door. You knock on the door.
Just before we start, remind me of the timeline again. This was last night or the night before?
Last night.
Last night.
So you knock on the door, and a middle-aged woman answers. How can I help you?
Yes. My name is Special Agent Lisa DeJordi. I'm working with the Balch Springs Police Department. We're looking into the death of Adam Carterson.
Oh, such a tragedy.
You live relatively close to the Cartersons. I just have a quick question for you. Last night, did you happen to hear any strange noises?
She thinks for a minute. You know, now that you mention it, I did. I guess it was about 9 o'clock. Yep, I remember because the show I was watching just ended. So just a little after 9, and it sounded like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It sounded like a almost like a violin, but different. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it was very odd.
How long did the sound go on for?
Maybe about 30 seconds. Then it just stopped. I thought it was maybe my TV or something.
I look over. Did she have like a clear view of the Cartersons' front lawn or the sidewalk, or
Not really.
there's like a hedge or something in the way?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I jot that down, and I say to her, "Well, thank you, ma'am. I really appreciate your help. That should be all for now."
Oh, okay. Thank you. And she closes the door. So across the streets, Rajit, you knock on the door, and a man answers. Can I help you?
Hello. I'm here investigating the death of Mr. Carterson across the street.
Such a tragedy.
It truly is. Just a real simple question for you. Did you happen to hear anything that night?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Strange noises?
No, but I did see. I was taking the garbage out last night about 9 o'clock, and I thought I saw, I don't know, a person on a bike riding away. At first, I thought they were just riding past the house, but I think they got on their bike and then rode away from in front of the house. They had a backpack on, and I think like a hoodie. It was dark, and there's no light in front of the house here, so I couldn't get a good look at them. But yeah, they were riding away.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good. It is a potential
Maybe
witness. We
they
think
had
it was an accident, but we're trying to figure out everything we can about it. What?
They had something hanging on their handlebar. Like, I don't know. It was weird. Like a weird shaped black case.
A case, like a what kind of cases could there be? A briefcase?
No. It wasn't square. It was like
maybe like a music
rounded
case?
one. Yeah. It could have been like a
violin or a tuba.
Yeah, something like I guess like a violin. It looked
Violin, okay.
like a guitar case, but smaller.
Okay. So like a violin or a banjo or something like that.
Yeah, maybe, but definitely a odd, weird shape.
Great. That gives us a lot to work with. The potential witness that may have heard something. Okay. Anything else that you happen to notice that night, or have you seen this character around before?
No, I mean no, I don't think so.
What was the build like?
Thin, kind of small, maybe like a teen. Like I said, they were wearing a hoodie and it was dark, so I can't tell much.
Great. Well, thank you so much. If you think of anything else, just give me a call and I'll give him a card.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. He closes the door.
I head across the street to where Agent White's probably already
they took the same amount of time.
Yeah. Guy saw someone riding off on a bike. Looked like he had a violin case. Thin, small, teenager, maybe.
Lady heard something strange noise, lasted about 30 seconds. Sounded like some kind of a weird violin.
Okay, well, so like we get like a pillowcase, right? And take
Yeah,
this.
I think we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna have to do a little abducting.
All right. Well, so the last stop I was on, this is where shit went sideways. And I was with a veteran of the agency, supposedly. He knew all this shit. So how are we going to do this in a way that we don't get sunk into a floor?
Um, well, we should probably figure out where he lives. You've got his cell phone data from the NSA, so we can.
Oh yeah, you have an email. Yeah, you got
figure
that.
out. We can figure out at least. We can probably figure out where he is. We can track him with his cell phone to within a couple of meters, I think.
We need to. I think maybe we need to get him away from the violin. That should be our first thing.
Yeah, separate him from his instrument, restrain him.
What if he could do it with a harmonica, though? He could have a harmonica in his pocket.
So I think first thing would be to separate him from his instrument. Second thing would be to restrain him. Probably we should use duct tape.
Yeah, is there anywhere we could get the jump on him? Maybe I could spoof a message to him from the music teacher saying that there was some kind of event that tonight.
Is there some kind of role I could make, like where we could plan an ambush spot by the high school?
That would be military science.
Military science. I have that at 0%.
I have it at 0% as well.
Well, if you roll and get 100,
just don't roll and get double anything else.
Yeah. Okay.
Try it.
What about like criminology?
What do you have that at?
50.
That I have at 50 as well.
I would say roll it at -10 because that's more like breaking and entering and that kind of criminology. But because you're trying to kidnap a person.
So I would have hit that at +6 on what I just rolled for military science. Do you want me to re-roll it?
No, it's fine.
I do not. I got an 85. So
Okay.
I check off my criminology.
Yeah. So the you might be able to find a spot at the school. The problem is that as you were there, you did see a bunch of security cameras because it's a modern school. So you would have to do it in such a way that the cameras wouldn't pick him up because if a teenager gets abducted from the school, you bet your ass they're going to be investigating that hard, especially like a day after another teenager just died.
All right. Can I roll luck to see if I maybe got on the school's network while I was there in order to receive my emails and stuff?
Sure, make a luck check.
20.
Okay. So yeah, you got on their network.
Can I try to hack the cameras?
That's going to be a SIGINT roll.
Okay. That is a 89, so no.
Yeah. They have surprisingly good security for a local high school. But no, you cannot.
Angelina, these guys are geniuses.
Best you've ever seen.
This is the best security system I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's impenetrable.
You might be able to do. I mean, you're trying to do it remotely too. If you were at the school, I would let you try again. At least remotely, you can't do it.
All right. Other thought. Do we have an address for this kid?
Sure.
I have his file, right?
I mean, you can just look in the phone book. It's not even.
Yeah.
Mordecai's a pretty.
I'm gonna like Google Maps that and look for the easiest possible bike route to the school. Does it happen to pass through any like
alleyways?
Well, I know like where Alex and I went to high school, there was a kind of a convenient bike path that a lot of people would take. And
I took it every day.
if I was doing some kidnapping, that would be a pretty good place for it.
Oh wow! Now I'm glad I didn't get kidnapped. Make a luck check.
Okay. Let's see. Luck is POW times 5?
No, it's just 50-50, high or low.
Oh, 50-50. In that
Go
case-
low because that's what we did before.
Okay, well, if I'm going low, then I made it.
Okay. So yeah, it's suburban Texas. There's not like a bike path, but yeah, there's an out of the way area that you can. There's like a few quiet suburban streets that you can go down, and there's not going to be much security there.
Okay, nothing like a bike trail or a preserve or something that he could cut through.
Oh sure, screw it. Yeah, there's a bike trail that he can cut down.
Okay.
Can we use maybe, I don't see anything better, maybe criminology to put together a wood dowel with some nails poking up out of it that would catch on a bike tire and basically take it out and flip him over?
Yeah, you have a criminology of 50. It probably wouldn't flip him over.
It'd stop him though.
It would definitely stop him. But it's basically like road spikes for a car. It'll pop his tire, but if you wanted to flip him off, you'd have to like get something in the spokes.
Sure.
But if you just want to like pop his tire, yeah, you don't have to roll for that. You can put nails through a board easily enough.
Yeah, we'll lay that down and put some dirt over the dowel.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have a first aid at 10% and surgery at 20 and no medical skills, so I'm not going to be like, we need to get some injectable sedative or something.
Yeah, I don't have any pharmacy or anything.
Sedative.
Did you dose him right? Yeah. How much did you give him?
He's
I don't
either
know, all of it.
he's either asleep or dead.
Either way, problem solved.
How many times a minute is someone supposed to breathe? I don't know.
More than 0. All right, so you've got a plank with nails in it, and a place to put it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Can I spoof that email?
Yeah, that's make another SIGINT roll for that.
Okay. Off the table. 07.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you want to say?
Okay, so he doesn't want people to hear him play.
Well, he's in orchestra.
Yeah.
He's first chair violin.
Yeah.
So it's not that he doesn't want people to hear him play. You don't know why he wasn't playing for you, but
Sure.
he has performed publicly before.
Okay, so I'll say, Kieran, excellent news. Friend in town from what's like Juilliard.
Yeah.
Would love to hear you play. Can you meet us at the school and then I'll give a time that's after dark. 7:30 p.m.
Sure. He replies, yeah, I'll be there.
I reply wonderful with an exclamation point.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we've got the trap. I guess I'm gonna get us some dark clothes, gloves, and also duct tape.
I hope you buy that. I hope you buy that at different stores because that's like that's like kidnap.
I'll get the
kidnapper.
I'll get the duct tape and some hairnets, and you get plastic bags and.
Also, if I could get my hands on a taser.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
That you're gonna have to make a roll for.
Okay.
How do you want to go about doing it? Like if you want to call up the agency, that would be like a bureaucracy check. If you just want to go buy one.
Well, they have those little confetti bits in them that identify which taser fired the.
Yeah.
So I don't. I'm gonna go with bureaucracy.
Or if you want to try to get one discreetly, you can do criminology.
I've
How
got.
about-
Go ahead.
What do you have in bureaucracy?
I have a slightly better criminology, actually. I'm at
Okay, I have 40 and 50 respectively.
yeah,
Bureaucracy and
same,
criminology.
same here.
All right, why don't you try criminology? I'll try bureaucracy.
Okay.
23 out of 40.
I got a 70 out of 50, so
What were you doing, Ryan?
I was doing criminology.
Oh, okay. No, you can't. For some, the illegal gun trade in town is not what you expected it to be,
Okay.
because the legal gun trade in town is so good. So people don't really need an illegal weapon trade. Rajit, you do manage to call up the agency, and you get okayed for 1 or 2.
2 if possible.
Sure. I mean, they're tasers. So
These are the types you shoot, right? Not the
the
stab
shitty
ones.
So they tell you that they put in a call to a local gun store, and purchase them on your behalf. So you just have to go pick them up.
Okay, I go pick them up.
Which you do, and it's fine. Yeah. Still got that new taser smell.
Now I'm picturing how you would find that out.
It smells like burning.
No, it doesn't smell like.
Oh wait,
burning.
that's right. It doesn't.
It's yet to pick up that unique burned flesh aroma.
Yeah. If you guys wouldn't mind playing Cthulhu Confidential for a minute, I need to use the restroom, so I will be right back.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know what Cthulhu Confidential is.
I think it's like a reality show, maybe. Like the guy stares into the camera and he
I'm
gives.
going to Google it. Oh no, it's a thing. Cthulhu Confidential is from Pelgrane Press. Oh, it's a one-on-one Cthulhu game.
Oh, okay.
Lancaster,
I still want to stare in the camera and say, well, I think Agent Malay.
You want to do your Office Confidential?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. It's a
I've never heard of it.
Gumshoe Cthulhu.
Oh, nice.
It's a one-to-one retunes, rebuilds, and re-envisions with the acclaimed Gumshoe investigator set.
I need to make a note of that. My group was just looking for games that we can play when people don't show up.
Yeah. All you need to play Gumshoe one-to-one plus detailed approach. And it's a noir detective Cthulhu game.
Nice.
Cthulhu Confidential drops your hero into the noir nightscape of hard-boiled era Los Angeles, New York, or Washington, D.C. Meet power brokers and politicians, rub shoulders with Hollywood studio bosses and fiery evangelists. Ugh. Face narrow-eyed G-men, bent cops, and dangerous crime hordes. But beneath it all, under the scrim of all this human endeavor, lives corruption so old and inhuman you'll need all your courage and resourcefulness to face it.
Is it only for 2 players, or can more?
No,
play?
it seems like it's only for 2 players.
Okay.
So there's three characters. Each has their own setting. So the Fathomless Sleep. How did fast-living society girl Helen Deacon come down with a case of catatonia? Her sultry sister pays you to find out. As Dex Raymond, you'll explore a web of blackmail, dirty money, and weird mysticism in the city of fallen angels.
Cool.
In the offices of the New York Herald, Sadie Kane seeks reporter Vivian Sinclair's help. Sadie's fiancé, George Preston, disappeared 3 days after a murder in his apartment block. Can Viv uncover the truth about George, and will Sadie like what she finds? And Lynette Miller was a riveter. A few weeks ago, she got a new job, hush-hush and highly paid. She's a clever and resourceful young woman, and now she's missing, and her father is heartbroken. Can Langston Wright unweave a web of deceit, face down racist cops, and uncover the deeper conspiracy which endangers the war effort? That does sound pretty cool. You know what? I will, since we're in the chat, I will just send you the link to Pelgrane Press.
Awesome.
Go.
Yeah, I really like Gumshoe, so.
It's an interesting system. I've only played it once. It takes a little getting used to.
Yeah, I like Dirty World's pretty fun. Better
Yeah,
Angels is cool.
that's not Gumshoe. That's One
Oh,
Roll
on
Engine.
one roll. Gumshoe is.
Gumshoe is
Oh no,
where you
yeah,
spend points.
yeah.
It's,
I actually like that even better. Knights Black Agents.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's the point spend engine.
Oh, there he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I really had to.
No, it's okay.
I always reverse those two, but yeah, I like Gumshoe even more. Cool.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of left you guys at a moment where there wasn't like a good scene you could do, but it was-
I did a scene talking into the camera about Agent Malay
He did his The Office Confidential.
because that's what we thought you meant by Cthulhu, or that's what I thought you meant by Cthulhu Confidential.
Yeah,
Oh,
I did not remember what
Alex
it was.
googled it.
yeah, it's the new Gumshoe 1-to-1 thing that they're doing for just
Cool.
a player and a GM. So
Yeah, I took
Well,
a note
it's
of it
not-
because
Oh, there's a bunch of expansions for it, or by bunch I mean 3.
yeah, more settings.
Yeah. Well, because it seems like each character is the setting, so you like play as the character, and then it looks like they have an additional setting for each character too. It's only $25. That's not too bad on TTRPG. Anyway, okay, back to the game.
so yeah, back to our kidnapping in progress.
Right. Kidnapping a teenager.
So I give Agent Malay one of the stun guns, or
Yeah,
I guess
get a
taser.
You get a taser.
All right, and what is the closest we can get, like a car, like maybe our rent a car, to the
About
spot
a half
with-
mile.
Half mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can we get a dolly out here?
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Wait, what do you mean by a dolly? I can't.
Like one of those like hand carts that you.
Yeah,
Oh,
like a hand truck.
yeah, that's fine. Just have to
And
drag it with you.
Yeah.
maybe a big blanket or something we can roll the kid up in.
Yeah, that's. I mean, unless it's something crazy, if you can buy it at Walmart, yeah, you have it.
And actually, we probably wouldn't even need a dolly. The kid's pretty small, but we'll bring it just in case.
Yeah, better to have it and not need it.
Yeah.
He looks small, but he's really dense.
Yeah. So we got ski masks. I'll get some shoe polish because I've watched war movies and I'm gonna smear that all over my face and my hands. Oh wait, no, we've got gloves, but I'll smear it all over my face.
And then put a ski mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really sticky.
I don't want him to see my eyelids.
Okay. Angelina kind of just watches you as you try to pull on the balaclava over the.
I mean, I don't do the whole face. I kind of do raccoon eyes.
Okay. Well, like you say, it's good to be thorough.
I pass Angelina the shoe polish.
Angelina just kind of like, no, thank you, I'm good.
No, yeah, sure, okay.
All right, and then so what are our stats for the stun guns?
That's a good question. Let me look at the weapons. Weapons table. Come on, book. Wait. Electroshock weapons. See page 96. Then why was it on page 93? One second. It's not hand to hand. Stun grenades. Electroshock weapons. CED pistol requires special training, but you guys have firearms, so that's fine. So it's your firearm skill. Range 4 meters. You have 4 uses. And let me go back to page 93 and just double check how this works. Electroshock weapons. The victim must roll a con ×5 test to resist being stunned. After the stun wears off, the victim suffers the listed penalty to all actions for 1d20 turns. That's it. So if he makes his contest, he's not stunned. And then with those, he has a -20 to everything for 1d20 turns.
Okay.
You said a 1d20 for a 20 minus
Yes,
20
minus
for
20
1d20
for
turns.
1d20 turns.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's still pretty good, even if he doesn't.
If he fails,
So it doesn't like knock him out.
No. After the so if he succeeds his contest, he does not get that penalty.
Okay.
Because the victim must roll con times 5 tests to resist being stunned. After the stun wears off, the victim suffers minus 20% for 1d20 turns.
Okay. So he does that regardless, or no, he just doesn't get any penalty at all. But if he is stunned, then
If he's stunned, you'll have a few turns of him not being able to move.
okay. Well, we
stun
can,
guns don't knock you out anyway. They keep
Right.
you conscious.
right.
just
They
immobilize
keep you, yeah.
Um,
But we could disengage it and duct tape his arms and legs and gag him.
yeah, you would have if you stun him, you'd have enough time for that.
Okay.
But you have to, obviously you have to roll to hit him too.
Right.
Can I get just take a sock and put a bunch of quarters in it or something?
Oh God, yeah, sure.
I just look over at Angelina and say, "Backup plan."
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess let's just talk
Do it.
through this.
One of the melee weapons listed in the table is rifle butt.
Yeah, that seems right.
I'm pretty. I'm
I'm gonna
decent
say
with
your
weapons.
I'm just gonna say your sock full of quarters is a does 1d6 damage.
Okay.
And obviously you roll melee weapon.
Yeah, and there's a specific knockout test, isn't there? At least there was in COC 6.
I will check.
We might not even need it if
Yeah,
we
let's
are able to stun him.
Right, we can look that up later. So I'm pretty decent at firearms. How are you?
I've got a 60.
Okay, so you seem to be better than me in everything.
Except for all the things that I have a 0 in, which I think are more than you.
So you really listened to the game and filled in the weak spots.
No, I just looked at your character sheet because it was in the.
It was there. All right, so in that case, you go for him first because you have a better chance, and then if you miss, I'll go for him. Hopefully he's stunned. If he's not, then I'm gonna work on getting his instrument away from him. You go for the sock full of quarters.
What if we just both try to stun him at the same time?
That could
from
work.
Different directions.
That could work.
And then if we miss, then we go to that. You go for his violin, and I'll try to stun him again.
Okay.
Because that way we have a better chance of the stun taken if we get both prongs into him.
True. All right. Let's just go at him from our ambush spot. Is there are there good hiding places?
Yeah.
All right.
You can make stealth checks to.
Oh, that's
Not
one of those
really.
skills that I don't have.
Yeah, I'm not all that great at stealth. So yeah, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, stealth. So make you have it at 10 at base.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Can I get a bonus for this shoe polish?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh, we did say we were wearing dark clothing and waiting till after dark. So
I'll give you a plus 10.
all right. Would you consider a plus 30?
No.
All right, then I missed.
My sound went out for a second. Did he give us a plus? Because
Plus
I got
10.
rolled it. I rolled a 29 out of then 20.
Yeah, I rolled a 38 out of out of 20.
You guys are great.
Yeah, we are. We're hidden.
Yep. There's bushes.
At about 7.
And you are part of them.
Good.
So it just seems like unconsciousness is if you get them to 2 or fewer HP, at least for player characters.
Okay.
All right.
What do you have a weapon skill?
I
don't.
I have
30,
firearms.
the base.
Yeah.
Melee weapons?
Melee weapons. Hang on. Yeah, I have it at a base too.
Okay. I was going to give you the sack full of quarters if you had better.
No, I do not.
Yeah, there's no specific knockout thing in this one.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so you guys lay in wait, and at about 10 after 7, you hear the sounds of bicycle wheels coming down the path towards you. And luckily for you, he does not seem to see you. And you see from the bushes as he rides over the board you put out. One sec. Nope. And you hear boom, boom. Son of a bitch! As the bike skids to a halt and he kind of stumbles off. And he looks back. What the fuck?
As he's looking back, I step out and...
All right, make a firearms check.
Sorry, what were you about to say, Ryan?
I was going to say also luckily for us, it's him and not some other hapless cyclist.
Yeah, someone else
You
comes
think
along.
so? It's dark.
Does the build look right at all?
Yeah, it looks like him in the.
Do I see a violin case?
You do, and a backpack.
Okay, then I stun him.
Well, yeah, make a firearms check.
Yeah.
Set 53 out of 60.
53 out of 60. All right.
And I'm at 46 out of 51.
Well, he critically failed his con check. So he. Oh, you both hit him?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
both hit him.
Oh God. Yeah. He seizes up and then just collapses.
All right, I yell at Angelina, grab the violin case. And I run up and just start tying his arms up with...
Oh, he critically
Okay.
failed his check. Do you don't have any medicine skills, do you?
I got a little bit. No, I don't have much, but I have a little bit of first aid.
Yeah, same here. I have a 10 in first aid.
Okay. So Rajit, you have a 10 in first aid. You grab his wrist and start tying him up, and you notice
There's
he has
no
no
pulse.
pulse.
I put the bag over his head first, and then I start doing CPR.
Okay. Angelina, what's your first aid at?
10.
Okay.
Can she assist me by telling me like where to
I'll
do
give you
things?
another plus 10
All right.
if she assists you.
Yeah, oh shit. We killed a kid.
Oh, 15
Oh!
out of 20.
All right. So you, in a panic. Well, first, both of you make sand checks too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happening.
26.
Hang on. Yeah, 10 out of 43.
All right. You both still take 1. You just murdered a child.
We unmurdered him a minute later, so it's okay.
But we don't know that yet.
You still take that, and you can mark off a point of
Mark off.
violence.
Violence, okay.
Or yeah.
Well, we did murder a child, so that's
Yeah,
probably violence.
you did murder a child, and then a minute later he takes a deep breath, and he starts groping at the bag on his face.
I'm tying his hands with duct tape immediately. Behind
Okay.
his back.
Make a unarmed
Unarmed.
check.
Okay. I've got it at 60. 32.
All right, you beat him. So you managed to wrestle his hands behind his back and duct tape them. What's going on? Who are you? What are you doing?
We got a sock full of quarters. I'm stuffing the other sock in his mouth.
Okay. You.
And then duct tape around the sock in the mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
and then I'll duct tape his legs, like all the way up the legs. I'm mummifying this dude.
Okay, yeah. You
All right, I'm gonna say
make one more unarmed check, because as you do that, he starts to kick you.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say to him,
41.
Is that a success?
Yeah, 41 out of 60.
Okay, yeah, you beat him again. So he's not very strong. So you get his ankles first, so he stops kicking, and then just work your way up.
I'm gonna say to him, don't struggle, don't fight us, and we won't hurt you.
Make a persuasion roll. Persuade.
Not terrible. 19 out of 50.
Okay, he calms down a bit.
All right.
You could tell he is fucking terrified.
So I guess now we got to get him to the car.
Yeah, I mean,
what are
can
you
I?
doing with his stuff?
We'll take the violin. Leave the bike here.
He has a violin. He had a violin and a backpack with him.
All right. I'm gonna
Grab the backpack.
Yeah, grab the backpack. I'm gonna take the bike and move it off the trail a ways, and also take the dowel with the spikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a stealth check to hide, or disguise to hide the bike.
Much better at disguise.
Yeah. Oh, you got the size? Cool.
7 out of 30. So I would have made it either way.
Okay. Yeah, you hide the bike. You realize you can't see it from the path.
All right, I just kind of stand him up on the dolly and
Okay.
start wheeling him
All right.
down the bike path.
At one point, he struggles a little bit and falls off into the dirt, and you pick him back up and put him on. He kind of realizes what's
We
happening.
brought like a rug too, right? So I'm going to wrap him up in the rug first and put duct tape around that and then put it on the dolly.
Okay,
And,
he is very secure.
yeah. Well, I want it to look like we're transporting a rug, not a body.
Yeah, well, you get back close to the car. One of you make a luck check.
You do it. Oh, okay. Which one of us is doing it?
You go for it.
Going
All
low.
right. We're going low. 37. I made it.
All right,
Nice.
There are no other cars on the road. Where do you put them?
Throw him in the back seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are no other cars on the road as you throw this teenager into the backseat of your car and get in and drive away. So where are you going?
As we're going, I just to make sure I cut an air hole
Okay.
so he doesn't suffocate
So you
in
don't
there.
kill him again?
Yeah.
All right.
As you start driving, you hear the pick up again.
Okay. I'm gonna go through the backpack.
Okay. You open it up. There's no papers or anything in here. It's a bunch of equipment. Like you see some. There's speakers with some kind of harness, and cords and some sort of like computers and electronics. Do you have any computer science?
I do.
Make a computer science check.
Can I make it as well?
Well, one of you's driving.
Well, I'm driving. Yeah, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a no. 92 out of 20.
It's electronics stuff.
Great.
I look over at Angelina while I'm driving and kind of mouth, "We gotta toss his room."
Yeah.
So green box.
yeah,
first?
I'm
Drop
thinking
him off there?
we drop him off. Maybe interrogate him. Find out what exactly he's doing if we can.
The only thing that I'm worried about is if we take the time to interrogate him, there might be a missing person thing going on by the time we get to his house.
Okay. Yeah, true. All right. So yeah, we're heading to that green box you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Okay. You can go there. It's a storage unit. You know the which unit and the code to get in. It's a 24-hour place.
Take one side of this rug.
Yeah.
So you open up the green box. There are a few other boxes in there, all sealed with tape.
Oh, what are they? What do they say?
They don't say anything. One of them is moving.
Well, we're about to add something else that moves to the screen box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing with this kid?
Well, I'm gonna. Yeah. Are there any like handcuffs around?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So we already taped him up, so that's kind of silly.
Well, we can also handcuff him to a bar or something in here so that he couldn't possibly get away.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you'd have to undo the tape to handcuff him to the
Can't we
bar.
just kind of like get a cuff through like one of the tiny pieces of tape and around his wrist?
Yeah, you have to take him out of the rug.
Yeah, I think we'll do
We
that.
can do that. Yeah.
All right. So you unroll him, and then while he's still bound, you manage to get the handcuff around, more like his arm than his wrist, but you get it around and secure it to a pipe. Are you just leaving him here?
Well, I was about to. Should we text?
Yeah, we should text Johnson. Have somebody come by and pick this kid up.
Okay. She texts you. Are you sure this is the vector?
I'm
90%.
I'm gonna send her a picture of the
Of the bounty.
of the
Oh, can I look at the
stuff in
device as well?
backpack.
Sure. Yeah. So, Rajit, you can make a computer science check.
30 out of 50.
Okay. So it seems like there's a cord, and you open the violin case, so you could tell that it's. You take a look at it. You start. You pull things out. So it seems like he built this rig to wear the speakers on his shoulders, and then play the violin. And it's like a semi-electric violin, so like he can plug it into an amp. But instead of an amp, it plugs into this thing in the backpack. That it looks like he has a Raspberry Pi in there doing something. You're not sure exactly, and like a big battery that it's hooked up to. So it seems like the violin is the inputs, and the speakers are the outputs, and something happens in the computer part there. You don't know what, and then it projects out the speakers on his shoulders.
Okay. Once Angelina's done taking a picture, I take that and put it out in the car away from him.
Okay.
And put the violin like in the front seat and this electronic thing in the back seat. Just, keep them separate.
Sure.
Then I go up to the kid and I say into his ear, if you yell or scream, I'll put a bullet in your head.
He just whimpers.
The only way you're going to make it out of this is to be quiet and answer my questions.
What's your persuade at? 80?
80.
Yeah, okay. I was going to make you roll with a bonus of 20, but then never mind.
Strange. He believes the guy who
the guy who just
him on the
kidnapped
road.
him. Yeah, he just whimpers and nods because he's still gagged.
I rip the tape off of his mouth.
He like spits the sock out.
Who are you working with?
What?
Who taught you how to do that? To make that machine?
I did.
From where? Where did you learn about it? You don't just make something like that.
There was this paper I found on a website, and I modified it.
What's the website?
He lists off one of the music forums that the professor had posted the information to.
It's one of the ones we already deleted the information?
Yeah.
Did you tell anybody else about it?
No.
What about your teacher?
No.
Does she know?
No. I just told her I was working on a project at home.
Can I human that?
Yeah, that's going to be at -10 though, because you can't see half his face.
Sure. All right, so then I got a 50. 11.
Oh,
critical.
Yeah, no, he's telling the truth.
All right, you're going to wait here for a while, quietly. My partner is going to be with you. He doesn't talk very much. He's just going to be sitting here watching you. You got it?
Yeah, okay.
So don't try to get out. If you do, he'll put a bullet in your head.
Don't I get
And
a
I
phone
put some
call?
tape. You'll get a phone call later on.
And then you put a okay.
I put the tape back over his mouth.
Yeah.
Actually, I say open up, and I stick the sock back in his mouth, and then put the tape over.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna stand there and like loom over him intimidatingly, and
Well, he can't.
No,
see. He's still got
I
the
was
bag
just
over
totally
his head.
bullshitting about the
yeah.
partner.
Yeah. All right, so we're leaving him alone. Gotcha.
Yeah. So we'll just
Sorry.
like close the door and lock it. And
Yeah. All right.
tell Johnson where to
leave
pick
your
him up.
rug in the storage unit. Johnson says that she'll send an agent over. So
go toss
where
this kid's
are
house.
you going? Yeah, so you're going to his house. Okay, you go to his house.
So do we like kill the parents just in case?
I don't think
What do we normally do in this kind of situation?
I don't think we need to kill the parents.
Okay.
Okay, so you go to his house. You get there. The lights are on inside. There's a pickup truck in the driveway. What do you want to do?
Can we? I'm going to use my, not my burner phone even, because that number is out there. We haven't given Angelina's burner phone number to anybody so far. So
No, we have not.
maybe you can call them and tell them that you thought you saw their kid go down the bike path, and then you heard a loud noise, and that maybe he had a crash or something. Maybe we can get them out of the house.
Sure. Well, the only weird thing about that is,
Why aren't you helping?
Yeah.
And how do you
Also-
know their phone number?
How do I know their
Oh,
phone
oh.
number? And why is an out of state area code? Because we got these burner phones in DC.
So we
Yeah.
could say we're with the kid. The kid give us the phone number, and that he's hurt and he lost consciousness just now, and they need to get over here. You already called an ambulance.
Gotcha. There we go.
Okay. So you call up the house, and yeah, you hear a man answer. Hello.
Hi. I'm sorry. Is this Mr. Mordecai?
No. My name's McKay. What do you want?
Listen.
Tell him they gotta get down here right now. This kid needs help.
I'm here. I think he's your son. He had a crash over the bike path. Oh God, I see bones. Listen, I called an ambulance. You need to get down here right away.
Well, then I guess the doctors are going to take care of that little dipshit, and he hangs up.
So we kill him, right?
Yeah, I think that's a fair trade off.
All right. Shit.
All right.
All right, so they're gonna be in the house. How do we get them out of the house?
Okay.
We could stage a prank. We could put a bag of burning dog shit on the porch. This is the kind of guy who chases after somebody who does that to him. I do a runner, and you go in and see what you can steal. Take the kid's computer. That's probably all we need, and any electronics he has laying around.
Okay. Well, first the other thing, did he? It was just the electronics harness in the backpack, right? He didn't have a laptop on him.
No, there was like a Raspberry Pi in there,
Okay.
and a battery, but you don't know what it was for. But there was no like actual like laptop
Computer. Okay. All right. All right. I guess that's the best we've got. Going for the balaclava again.
I might get my ass kicked tonight. We'll see.
Okay.
Still got that stun gun.
So I'm not gonna ask where you find a bag of shit, but you do.
Well, I've been saving it.
You can't
Haven't
find
stopped.
And you
can't
Haven't
find
found
one.
a clean bathroom this entire.
yeah, if you can't find one, you're just gonna have to make one.
Yep.
So you put it on the porch, light it on fire, ring the doorbell, And you see a guy come out he's wearing jeans and a wife beater and cowboy boots. He's holding a beer, and he goes, "Oh shit!" And he starts stamping on it, and you see he gets shit all over his shoe.
I start laughing loudly from the bushes.
He looks up at you. "Oh, you are dead, you little shit!" And he starts running after you.
I run.
So make an athletics check.
I have my base of 50, which isn't
30.
bad. 27.
Well, still athletics is basic.
No, I mean, federal agent space is 50, I mean.
Oh, okay. Let's see. What'd you get?
27 out of 50.
Well, he got a 44 out of 60.
Okay. Well, as soon as he starts to catch up with me, I'm going to tase him.
Okay, well, he got a crit success, so
That's true. He tackles
before
me.
you get a chance to do that, yeah. You like, "Oh, I'm out of here," and you turn and look over your shoulder, and he's already in mid-leap at you, and tackles you down to the ground. So he is on top of you.
Okay.
So if you tase him now, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you'd also be tasing yourself.
Yep.
So
Okay, can I use unarmed to get him off of me? To just
yes,
throw
you
him off?
can, or you can try. He is going to try to resist or punch you in the face, really.
39 out of 60.
He failed. So it seems like he might be just a little drunk. So he reaches back to punch you, and you jujitsu your way and like throw him off and roll and get up. And you go, "You son of a bitch!" And he's coming at you again. So make a firearms check. Shoot firearms? Yeah, firearms. To
06.
he got the exact same thing for his unarmed combat roll. Yeah, so you hit
He punches
him.
me and I shoot him.
No, he misses punching you. How does he get stunned?
Okay.
He makes his con check though. He got a 5. So he just like grits through it and like grabs the taser needles in him and just yanks them out.
All right.
So we'll
I'll
cut
put
back to
another
you in a
set in.
second. Angelina, you watch this man go chasing after your partner and leaves the front door wide open.
All right. I'm going to walk up, give it like half a beat to see if somebody else comes out of the house to see what the hell is going on.
You don't see anyone.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna duck inside. I've got my pistol out. And I'm just gonna go room to room looking for a teenage kid's room.
Make a search check to see how quickly you find his room.
Okay. 46 out of 51.
Okay. So you head upstairs first because that tends to be where the bedrooms are. And the second room you check, it doesn't look like a teenage kid's bedroom, but with all the musical instruments all over the place, you figure it's
Gotta be
probably
his.
Kieran's bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has a MacBook on his desk,
Right.
and musical instruments everywhere. It's a very well kept room and clean.
All right. I'm gonna take the MacBook. I'm gonna give the room a quick once over for any like hiding spots or.
Make another search check.
That one I just make 50 out of 51.
Okay, so you grab the laptop. That's easy. You start looking through, and under the bed, you find a box that's full of a bunch of electronic stuff and like tools for doing like wire cutters and some soldering stuff. It looks like this is the box of stuff that he was using to make whatever that was in the backpack.
Okay. All right. I'll take those as well. And I think I'm gonna book it.
Okay, so you run back out. Smash cut back to Rajit's. He's going to try to punch you again. So you can try to shoot him with your taser. You only have 2 shots left.
Yep. 05.
He failed again. Apparently, he's really bad at punching. And he still makes his con check, though.
God, he's a monster.
Well, he has a con of 12, so he has to make a 60. He rolled a 45.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure it doesn't say anything about, like, because it says if he fails. I'll give it. He's going to get a penalty to his stuff though because
He's been tased twice.
yeah. So he's still going to try to punch you though.
Okay, I'll shoot him one last time. I keep rolling something. This time it's an 9.
That just beats his 6.
Wow.
So hey, that time you get him. So last shot, he finally like seizes up. He like falls to his knees and stares up at you, and then just collapses onto the ground, still shaking a little bit as you just like hold down the trigger.
I do that for a while, and I just keep it going, and then I let go, and I just go kick him in the head real quick.
Yeah. Okay. You don't even have to roll. You kick him in the head.
Okay.
About that time, Angelina pulls up in the car and just like throws open the passenger door.
Yeah,
Run and jump in and take off. Whoever that guy was had a really bad night. Yeah, so you've got the stuff from his room. Where are you heading back to?
I guess if that's the only vector, I mean, he did say that he doesn't seem to be the type of person who has any friends at all. So I doubt we're looking for an accomplice.
So I take a quick look through his phone data that I got. Has he contacted anybody in the last couple weeks?
No, maybe some, a few, a lot of calls from one number in particular. And you see his house
teacher's number?
No, different number. Registered to it's his mother. I'll just tell you, it's his mother. A few calls from the teacher, some from the house. Doesn't look like he's received. There's 1 or 2 texts from other students, mostly about like, "Hey, did you get the homework from this, this class or such and such like that?" A few orchestra-related things. All the violins are getting together to practice our parts, stuff like that.
Okay. All right. I'd like to maybe roll computer science to go in and erase that email I spoofed to him.
What's your SIGINT at?
60.
And what's your comp sci?
50.
So you just erase it. You don't have to roll for it.
Okay.
Unless, you can just delete it. Like if you're trying to do like a real deep clean, then you have to roll. But if you just want to like delete it and then empty it from his trash.
I'll try to do a deep clean.
Yeah. Okay. So make a comp sci roll.
Well, we have his computer. I want to delete it from the sent side, from the like server that it was sent from or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So that's still make a comp sci roll.
Yeah. 97 out of 50. So
you delete it from his inbox and his trash. That's the best you can do.
Yeah. Okay.
So unless someone's doing like a real deep search, they're not going to find it. Yeah. So where do you head back to?
Okay.
Or where are you going?
I guess we should.
Look over at Angelina and I say, "I just won my first fight. It was just like Counter-Strike. I mean, all this shooting and shit. Like I've never felt like this before. Like this is amazing."
Well, good for you. I would say don't get used to it. But
I love this job.
When you say that, Angelina once again reaches into her blazer and pulls out the carton of cigarettes and just says, "Yeah, well, yeah."
Okay.
Welcome to Delta Green.
Okay, so we'll go into epilogue with that. You go back to the green box, and there's another agent there who is escorting young Kieran out. He is taken away, and his parents are given a story, or his mother is. That was his drunk stepfather, who didn't give a shit about him. His mother is very sad when she finds out that her son has disappeared, but he is sent to a hole in the ground for a while to be interrogated. He was acting alone. He was an angsty teenage boy who suddenly found a book of magic. and decided to take it out on his high school bully. If you hadn't gotten to him that night, his stepfather would have been next.
Okay. I figured he was going to
goodness.
go after other football players.
Maybe eventually, once he got a real taste for it.
We saved that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for you.
Too
You
bad we
saved-
hadn't waited one more night.
So that was Concerto Black Mozart's. But yeah, so he modified the device that he got the plans for, and the reason the way it worked is that it just sort of made reality a little goopy, and things like would meld together. So he basically pointed it at the floor of the kid's house, and when he stepped on it, he fell through it, and then when he stopped playing, it solidified, and the two things merged. So where the kid fell through the floor, he and the floor became the same thing. They were occupying the same space at the same time.
Hence the carpet in his body cavity.
Right, like anything that was empty, like inside his intestines, that was just carpet. But anywhere that the two things met, they became one thing. So it was like wood with blood vessels and really, really nasty stuff. And he started with the cars in the parking lot.
I guess we have to suggest that the Delta Green recruit the coroner.
Or at least, make him a friendly.
Yeah,
make
he's
him friendly.
he's going to be a friendly now, especially because he's outside the Dallas area.
Yeah.
So it's a major metro hub. So he's a good person to have in the area. But yeah, so Kieran was just trying to take his frustration out. He was a musical prodigy, which is why he didn't really need the help. He just kind of understood it on an intuitive level. Like he might not be able to explain how he was able to do it, but he just knew what he was doing.
Instinctively.
And how to manipulate it. It was sort of like, oh yeah, you can do that with music if you play it right. So that was the first one for Black Mozart. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
That was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cool.
I was surprised by how well that went.
Yeah. If you didn't tase him right away, he could have played his violin at you, and that wouldn't have been bad.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
And now Rajit is going to go into the next mission thinking that this is just easy shit. This is easy.
So
peasy.
great.
Yeah, this is a great job.
Just a cakewalk where we kidnap savants.
That
the
first
first
job you had
operation.
was that was the aberration. That job,
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
But this has to be how it really is.
exactly. Yeah, definitely not the other way around. And the next job I have definitely isn't a horrible nightmare-filled hellscape. Nope, not at all. So I think I have 2 games left planned in this Black Mozart series, and then we'll switch to something else.
Cool.
But so we'll do. This was technically November's game. We got to it really late because of scheduling and holidays and whatnot. So hopefully we can get December's game in between Christmas and New Year's, and then we'll do January's game in January.
Awesome.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had one listener until a minute ago, so I hope they enjoyed it too. And I'm going to sign us out. Wait, how do the stop broadcast button. That'll do it. All right, take care.